afternoon. Today is Tuesday, June 24th, 2025. The time right now is 4:37 p.m. Welcome to the School Board of Volusia County's regularly scheduled meeting. In just a moment, I'm going to ask each and every one of you to stand to join me for the Pledge of Allegiance and National Anthem. The Pledge of Allegiance will be presented by students from Stark Elementary, and the National Anthem will be presented by students from Spruce Creek High, their choir and orchestra. We will remain standing after the National Anthem for a moment of silence and reflection, which by law, each day that our students are in school, they participate in a moment of silence and reflection. So at this time, will you please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Hello all, I am Mrs. Jessica Davis at Edith I. Stark Elementary School. I am the Administrative Dean here with Ms. Vanderford in our wonderful third grade classroom, and here we have the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Welcome, and at this time I'd like to introduce the other board members that are here with me. On my far left, we have Mrs. Donna Brosmer, who represents District 4, then Mrs. Krista Goodrich, who represents District 2, then we have Dr. Gilbert Evans, our school board attorney. Moving over to my far right, we have Ms. Celeste Gilmore, who's our agency clerk. Then we have Ms. Jessie Thompson, who represents District 3, Mr. Ruben Clone, our vice chair, who represents District 5, Dr. Carmen Balgobin, our superintendent, and I am Jamie Haynes. I represent District 1, and I'm currently your chair. Items for approval on this agenda this evening are items 1.03, 2.02, 5.01, 7.02, and 20.01 through 20.08. Public participation times. You may fill out a green card, which you can get from Ms. Johnson, who's over here on the side, if you wish to speak about any item that is located on the consent agenda. We will allow you to speak about that prior to voting on the consent agenda. We also have a 6 p.m. or shortly thereafter time for items of general interest pertaining to public education in Volusia County. At that time, we give a total of up to 15 minutes, and each individual can have up to 3. If you wish to speak on a general interest item, she has yellow cards that you can fill out. Then time will be provided for public comment on any action item before a board vote is called on that item. Tonight, those are items 20.01 through 20.08, and you'll fill out a green card for one to speak before we vote on those. And then at the end of the evening, we always provide time for additional public comments for items of general interest pertaining to public education in Volusia County before items from the board, superintendent, or the school board attorney are up for discussion or announcement. Our district vision, we're moving on to item 1.02. Our district vision statement is to create lifelong learners prepared for an ever-changing global society. I'm going to go ahead and implement a new piece and move on. Approval of minutes, item 1.03. Board members, you've had an opportunity to read the minutes from the June 3rd, 2025 regular session school board meeting. Do we have a motion to approve the presented minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. Thank you, Mrs. Goodrich.
No,
Any discussion? Oh, sorry, Mrs. Brosmer. I need to be looking to tell which one of you it is. It's easier on that side. So, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the June 3rd, 2025 regular school board meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it passes unanimously. We are now moving on to item 2.01, agenda changes. Dr. Balgobin, are there any agenda changes before the agenda is presented to the board for approval?
Madam Chair, I request that item 20.06, it be changed from an action item to a presentation only. And we will bring this to the July 29th agenda as an action item.
Which one was that?
20.06, that is, I will read it verbatim to you.
It is the Extract One System End User Business Agreement.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, so you have just one item.
Correct.
Item 20.06 is going to be changed from an action item to a presentation for this evening.
Correct.
All right, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent to change that item. Do I have someone that would make a motion for approval?
Make the motion to approve?
Thank you, Mrs. Goodrich. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cologne. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. We're going to accept the agenda as it's presented this evening, other than item 20.06, which will be changed from an action item to a presentation. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it passes unanimously. We are now moving on to item 3.01, announcements by our superintendent. Dr. Balgobin.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the audience, good afternoon. For those of you listening at home, thank you for tuning in. I hope everyone is enjoying their summer. And let's be reminded that July 4th is an important date coming up. It's our Independence Day. And in observation of Independence Day, we will obviously not be in operation for that day. Also, July 27th is considered Parents' Day. And guys, I've got to say this to you, I think every day is Parents' Day, but you are officially recognized on the 27th. Also, I shared with everyone here, and we will show that at the end, all of our administrators, they engage in professional learning in the summer, and that's based on our strategic plan, our data sets that we gather here at the district. As we analyze, we look at areas of needs that we have for continuous improvement. And the Teaching, Leading, and Learning Division, along with all of the other divisions that collaborate and that put together these trainings, we have many of our very own administrators that facilitate some of these sessions. And I have a short video. I know many board members were there to give greetings to our administrators. So I have a short video that I'm going to show at the end from our administrators in terms of their reflections this year. It's important for you to see that because, when it comes to learning, it's not just for our students. When it comes to learning, we're a learning institution. So that means every single one of you, irrespective of the roles in which we serve in, it's important that we're continuous learners. So you will get to see students, for those of you who are here in the audience today, those of you watching it from home, you'll get to see your principals and your APs engaging also in learning the way you do throughout the school year. And let's not forget that when it comes to our Superintendent Summer Home Run Reading Challenge, that this is taking place until July 31st. So if your students are reading, which I know they are, every single one of them, let's log those minutes into Beanstack in our V portal. And there's lots of great prizes that they can win, from Little Caesars to tickets to Daytona Lagoon, the Daytona Tortugas, traveling to the zoo. Futures Foundation is sponsoring quite a bit of these, in addition to Don and Dan Doudna. They have been doing this for several years now in terms of the sponsorship, so we would like to thank our sponsors. And most importantly, we want to thank all of our parents and our students who are diligently engaging in probably one of the most important skills that we can engage in, which is to be a continuous learner through reading. So thank you for doing that. Now, we do have a short video, and that concludes my announcements.
Thank you.
Our responsibility as leaders to go back to our campus and create a culture where we're not just leading with purpose, we're teaching with purpose, and students are learning with purpose.
Every single one of you, the work that you do, it's intentional, it's purposeful.
Our leadership identity has to do with the culture of our school. What is it that we really want our school community, our students, to be able to get from when they step foot into our school campuses, when they step foot into Volusia County schools as a whole?
They gave us data and evidence of why we're moving in the right direction, and we just all, coming from today, we want to keep moving in that direction, and we feel inspired.
It gives you time, and that's the thing that's the most valuable asset that we have as educators. It's time to think, to plan, to organize, to work together as a team, to bond, and so that's invaluable.
I think it's an opportunity to look at our data and also refocus, prioritize what are going to be our focus areas and action plan specific steps to meet those goals based on what our data is showing.
From this training and from all of these meetings and collaborating, we're just going to take all that information and make it the best school year ever.
I'm so excited about the trajectory of Volusia County schools, and our A's continue to rise. It's so exciting. It's great for our kids, and it's wonderful to show the hard work of all of our teachers and administration.
I'm very excited about the academic momentum that we have and the school culture and community that we have at Manatee Cove. And so I'm excited to see my students again and my teachers again and get started.
I think that was less than 3 minutes, Chair.
I think so. So now we're moving on to item 4.01, our Florida School Lunch Hero, Dr. Balgobin.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, board members, we would like to recognize Miss Tanya Cossey. She is here in the audience. She's our Schoolway Cafe Manager at Volusia Pines Elementary. Can you please stand, Ms. Cossey? So this beautiful lady here, Ms. Cossey, she was recently recognized, as you know, by the Florida Department of Agriculture for the No Kid Hungry and the Department of Dairy Council for her outstanding, truly outstanding work as a school lunch hero. She was one of just five individuals selected across the state out of approximately 700 applications that were submitted for this recognition. She's received a big check, guys, for $2,000 and other awards also from this sponsoring organization. At this time, Chair, would you like to, I think that's the only one, so can she come up now?
Yes.
Okay, so at this time, I would like to invite Ms. Cossey to join us, along with Ms. Heather Demiola, our school director, Cafe for School Way Cafe, director for School Way Cafe. It's been a long day, guys. Julie Cusack Gordon, our principal, wonderful principal from Volusia Pines. Carol Richards, the assistant principal from Volusia Pines, is here. Michelle Riggs, the assistant principal for Schoolway assistant director for Schoolway Cafe, and Robin Grulick, the assistant Schoolway Cafe for Volusia Pines. So we've got 3 assistants from the Schoolway Cafe here, along with our principal and our director. Can you please join us? Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's okay, you're fine.
I'm gonna have you slide into this area.
You're a true hero.
Sound we don't hear very often in here.
Oh.
So Dr. Balgobin,
Yes, ma'am.
we actually have one more recognition for this evening.
I think we do, right?
Now, there's a reason why it wasn't on the agenda,
Because it's a surprise.
because it's a surprise.
Huh?
So at this time, we're asking Mrs. Karen Bishop to come forward. Whether or not you realize it, Karen has donated 37 years of her life to Volusia County Schools. I got it right, didn't I? Yes, because we're just a little ways apart. And she's chosen to go ahead and retire, which we are all excited and happy for her that she is retiring, because she's going to start a new chapter and probably do a lot of fishing with her husband and all that. But we couldn't let tonight go by, because this is your last board meeting that you will have with all of us. And for those of you that may not know this, Karen spent the bulk of her 37 years up in the superintendent's office. And then we were fortunate that she came down to work with us a couple years ago. And so we appreciate you. And I'm not going to put you on the spot and make you say anything unless you wish to. Okay, but will you come forward, because we have some things for you and we'd like to get a photo with you before you exit.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we not accept her resignation.
That's She's special clearance. Aww. We were a little worried that if she saw it on the agenda, she wouldn't be here. And so that's why it wasn't on the agenda this evening. So thank you for bearing with us while we did that. So we're now moving on to item 5.01, which is administrative appointments and transfers. Dr. Balgobin.
Yes, Madam Chair, and we do have quite a few today. We have 10 administrative appointments. So here's how it's going to go. I'm going to call you up, you'll come up, you'll take 3 minutes or less to share at the end some words with the board and those that are here that are joining you. But at the end of the 10, then in the order in which you were called, you will come up so we can take a picture with you. Okay? So first I'm going to call Mr. Andrew Langenbach to join us, please. So a little bit about Andrew. We're excited about Andrew joining the team. He's obtained his bachelor's degree from the University of Central Florida, a master's degree from the University of Miami. He holds certification, obviously, the Florida Bar. Worked as a forensic attorney for the Florida Agency for Persons with Disability, and then became the regional attorney for the Florida Agency for Persons with Disability. Went on to become the assistant state attorney with the 7th Judicial Circuit for DeLand and Daytona. Became an associate attorney for Booker and Associates Orange City. Served again as the assistant state attorney for the 7th Judicial Circuit, DeLand Daytona. Currently serving as the senior attorney to the Florida Department of Transportation in DeLand. Today, board, I'm recommending that Mr. Andrew Langenbach becomes the new ESC ADA compliance attorney for the General Counsel's Office, and with your approval, his effective start date will be July 7, 2025.
Board members, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Do I have someone that would make a motion to approve?
Seeing as Ms. Copeland is back there doing this, I will happily make that motion.
Okay, thank you.
And I will second.
Thank you, Mrs. Brosmer. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations. It passed unanimously. Welcome.
Superintendent, Madam Chair, and members of the board, I'd like to thank you, along with Dr. Evans, Mr. Cash, Ms. Copeland, and Ms. Crimmins, for this opportunity. About 10 years ago, I hope that's right, I met the woman who became my wife. At the time, she was teaching middle school English. For the last decade, I've gotten to see firsthand exactly what goes into educating our children, both from the side of the teachers and the administrators. I've gotten to see the hours they put in, the care, the energy that they dedicate to the job. And so I am very excited to be able to come along and serve the organization that supports those people who work on the front line. I have a daughter who's also in Volusia County Schools, and I can see something that I'm sure all of you already know, which is that it's a calling that is answered by people who truly care about the students. I cannot wait to help serve those people in any way that I can in our community. I'm going to try to keep this brief, so I'll wrap up shortly, but I think I'd be remiss if I didn't have a public microphone and recognize a few people. So first off, my wife, Abby, who is in every sense of the word my better half. In every way that I'm weak, she's strong, and she makes my life so much better for being in it. My daughter, Madison, who I cannot look at and speak at the same time, unfortunately, but Madison, I am beyond proud of who you are, who you choose to be every day, and who you are growing up to be. I've lived a very exciting life, but I think my favorite adventure has been being your dad. I want to recognize my mom. She raised me on her own, working a very demanding job. And when you have a child who's going to grow up to be a lawyer, that is not an easy task by any stretch of the imagination. But I grew to be who I am because of who she taught me to be. And then finally, my in-laws, Joey and Tim, who have welcomed me into their family, continually give us wisdom and guidance, and encourage us to be our best. So in closing, thank you again. I'm very excited, Ms. Copen, and I cannot wait to get started. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So now I would like to ask Ms. LaShawn Russ Porterfield to join us. A little bit about Ms. Porterfield. She's obtained her bachelor's degree from the University of North Florida, master's degree from the University of North Florida. She's currently working on her doctoral degree also with the University of North Florida. Holds certifications in the following area: Ed Leadership, Elementary Ed, 1st through 6th. She started as a teacher at Rufus Payne Elementary in Duval County, became a reading coach at Lola Culver Elementary, Duval County, went on to becoming an assistant principal at Rufus Payne Elementary, Duval County, and then a principal at Rufus Payne Elementary, Ramona Elementary, Duval County, Crystal Springs Elementary, Duval County, served as a district principal on special assignment for Turnaround Innovative School Improvement in Duval County, and became the executive director for the elementary region for Duval County, currently serving as the Florida Regional Executive Director for the Bureau of School Improvement, Florida. Today I'm recommending, with your approval, that soon to be Dr. LaShawn Russ Porterfield to serve as the Director of Strategic Academic Operations in the Division of Teaching, Leading, and Learning. And as you know, this is a director position that has been restructured. Her effective start date, as approved, will be July 1st, 2025.
Thank you. Board members, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Do I have someone that would like to make a motion?
Motion to approve?
Thank you, Mrs. Goodrich. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cologne. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approving Ms. soon-to-be Dr. LaShawn Russ Porterfield for the position of Director for Strategic Academic Operations and Teaching, Leading, and Learning, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Welcome and congratulations. It passed unanimously.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Chairperson Haynes, board members, and our superintendent, Dr. Balgobin. Thank you for the opportunity to serve in this capacity in Volusia County. I have worked alongside many dynamic leaders in Volusia for the past 3 years, supporting our most challenging schools. My heart was full to see the students of Stark giving the pledge today, because that was one of the schools in which I worked alongside the principal and their dynamic leaders in supporting school improvement initiatives. I do bring to the table a wealth of knowledge around supporting our most fragile schools in their communities. But I also bring with me an opportunity to work alongside each of you and the leaders here in creating a sustainable, supportive schools within our county. I'm very excited to bring to the table and work alongside the leaders in the work that they're doing, the work that we have done in some of our most fragile schools in Volusia. I know you heard a lot about Duval County, but I have to say I'm only an hour, that's an hour away from the work that's been here, but working within Region 5, I've worked in districts starting with Volusia all the way down to Miami-Dade, 11. and have been very supportive in that work. And I look forward to bringing that to the students and school communities here in Volusia. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I look forward to working alongside each of you.
Thank you.
All right, so as we continue, Ms. Patricia Smith, can you join us? There she comes. Ms. Smith obtained her bachelor's degree from the University of South Florida, a master's degree from the University of South Florida. She holds certification from the American Institute of Certified Planners, started as a planner with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, the Office of Greenways and Trails, then became the planning manager for PBS&J, Inc., went on to becoming the director of project management at Holland and Knight Consulting, served as a land planning consultant at Mosaic Fertilizer in Tampa, worked as a construction projects manager at the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, became the transportation planning manager at Monroe County Government, Key West, then became research/program coordinator for the Institute of Human and Machine Cognition in Pensacola, currently serving as the planning manager for Volusia County Growth and Resource Management. With your approval, I'm recommending that Ms. Patricia Smith serve as the coordinator for planning and business services. Effective start date will be June 25th, 2025.
That's tomorrow. Okay. Board members, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Do I have someone to make a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Brosmer. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. Any discussion? Okay, then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of Ms. Patricia Smith becoming the coordinator for planning and business services, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? It passes unanimously. Congratulations.
Thank you. I am a proud graduate of the Volusia County School System. I attended Ormond Elementary, Ormond Middle School, and Seabreeze High School. And now I'm very fortunate to be offered this position to work with the planning team here at the school board. And I'm just very excited to help them out. So thank you for having me.
At this time, Logan Whitmore, can you please join us? So to share with you a little bit about Logan, he's obtained his bachelor's degree from the Daytona State College, master's degree from St. Leo University, holds certification in the following areas: Ed Leadership, English Speakers of Other Languages, Exceptional Student Education, Elementary Education K through 6, and Reading. He started as a teacher at Taylor Middle High, then became a teacher on assignment at Riverview Learning Center, went on to becoming an ESE teacher at Taylor Middle High, Riverview Learning Center, served as a teacher on assignment also at Hinson Middle and Pearson Elementary, currently serving as the assistant principal at Taylor Middle High. With your approval, I'm recommending that Mr. Logan Whitmore serves as the coordinator for exceptional student education, effective start date July 1st, 2025, not tomorrow, July 1st.
Thank you. All right, board members, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent for Mr. Logan Whitmore to become the coordinator for exceptional student education here at the district level. Do I have someone that would like to make the motion to approve?
I'd like to make the motion to approve. Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Goodrich.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Brosmer. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approving Mr. Logan Whitmore as the coordinator for ESE here at the district level, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes unanimously. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, School Board Chair Haynes, esteemed board members, and Superintendent Balgobin. I'm honored and humbled to accept this nomination as ESE coordinator within Volusia County Schools, and I will work hard for this faith and trust you've placed in me for this position. Thank you to the Taylor Middle High School faculty and staff that I have had the honor and privilege working alongside throughout my years with Volusia County Schools, from a teacher and, as you've heard, ESE teacher and then ESE AP. So many memories of laughter, joy, and inspirational moments that I will always cherish. You have helped me grow as a leader and have made Taylor feel like a second home to me. I could spend all night up here, and it still would not be enough to articulate the appreciation I have for this school and that community. I also cannot fully express what Principal Pierce has meant to me in my career. I will never be able to repay him for the trust and faith he has had in me, not only as a teacher again at Taylor, but as his ESE assistant principal this year. To the community of Taylor Middle High School, for each of my roles at Taylor, you have entrusted me with the responsibility to serve your students and community. I hope that I gave back a small fraction of the happiness and memories that you have given me. I look forward to seeing future Wildcats in the community, making their mark on the world and striving to be the best that they can be. And once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. To Director Copeland and the amazing ESE district team, I'm excited for the new challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. I look forward to serving all of our students in Volusia County schools within transition services. These services have a wide-ranging impact for our communities, are invaluable to our students and families. Collaborating with our students, families, educators, community service providers will be a main mission of mine and a source of pride every day. Lastly, to my amazing family who continue to be there for me, even though I continue to move up the ladder, they just keep pushing, they're like, go. You help push me to the best version of myself, and you encourage me to always strive toward new heights. Thank you, as I would not be here tonight with you. I am truly blessed to be where I am today, and I'm excited to be a servant leader for this community and Volusia County Schools.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we move along, Ms. Angelica Erica Jones, please join us. Ms. Jones obtained her bachelor's degree from the Florida Atlantic University, a master's degree from Florida Atlantic University, and also a master's degree from Stetson University. Holds certification in the following areas: educational leadership, English speakers of other languages, ESOL, elementary ed, K through 6, and reading. She's been with Volusia County since 2005. Started as a teacher at Freedom Elementary, then became a teacher on assignment at DeLand Middle, and currently serving as the administrative dean at DeLand Middle. Today, I'm recommending that Ms. Angelica Erica Jones serves as the assistant principal with Taylor Middle High with an effective start date of July 1st, 2025.
Board members, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Do I have someone that'd like to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cologne. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of Angela Erica Jones becoming the assistant principal at Taylor Middle High, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Congratulations, it's unanimous.
Good evening, school board members, Madam Chair Haynes, Mr. Cologne, Ms. Goodrich, Ms. Brosmer, Ms. Thompson, and Superintendent Bogwin. Thank you for this incredible opportunity to serve as an assistant principal for Volusia County Schools. It is truly an honor, and I'm deeply grateful for the confidence that you have in me. For the past 20 years, I have been blessed to serve the students, families, and communities of Volusia County, especially in the DeLand community. This has been my home for the last 20 years. Along this journey, I've been fortunate to work under administrators who have provided the guidance, mentorship, and unwavering support, each playing a crucial role in helping me grow into the leader I am today. I want to give a special thank you to Ms. Brandy Hogue for believing in me and encouraging me to take the important steps along my leadership path. Without her, I would not be where I am today. Your guidance has been instrumental, and I am sincerely appreciative. And I will try not to cry for the next part. To Mr. DeVito and the DeLand Middle School family. Sorry. These past 6 years have been incredible. I'm so thankful for your trust, support, and faith in me. Together, we've navigated the challenges of COVID, and this year faced a year filled with new trials. Through it all, I learned that with resilience and supportive environments, that we can overcome any obstacle and achieve great success. And I am proud to have been a Terrier, and proud that our school and all it has accomplished, especially this year. To my family, thank you. You've always been there standing by me and supporting me in my journey and guiding me in life. Your love and support means everything to me. I'm excited to continue serving Volusia County Schools and look forward to this next chapter in my leadership journey and with Mr. Pierce and the Taylor Middle High family. I'm eager to continue to learn, grow, and contribute as we all work together to the continued success of all our students in Volusia County. Thank you.
Damon Bars, please join us. Bars have obtained his bachelor's degree from Bethune-Cookman University, master's degree from Grand Canyon University, holds certification in the following areas: at leadership, exceptional student education. He's been with Volusia County since 2004, started as a paraprofessional at Seabreeze High, then became the campus advisor at Hinson Middle, Deltona High, worked as a behavior specialist at Behavior Change Artists in Daytona Beach, went on to becoming the ESC teacher at Campbell Middle, DeLand High, served as a teacher on assignment at Mainland High, currently serving as the administrative dean at Mainland High. With your approval, I'm recommending that Mr. Damon Bars becomes the new assistant principal for Mainland High, effective start date July 21st, 2025.
Board members, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Do I have someone that would like to make a motion?
I'd like to make the motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Mrs. Goodrich, do I have a second? Thank you, Mrs. Brosmer. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All of you that are in favor of Damon Bars becoming the assistant principal at Mainland High School, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? It passes unanimously. Congratulations and welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Before I begin, I'd like to extend my sincere gratitude to the members of the Volusia County School Board, Chair Jamie Haynes, Krista Goodrich, Jesse Thompson, Donna Broschmeyer, Vice Chair Ruben Colon. I also want to recognize the Superintendent, Dr. Balgaman, for her visionary leadership, our a little nervous. Our collective education and district strengthening opportunities like this, and I'm deeply honored and thankful. I would like to also give a big thanks to Dr. Drayton, Dr. Costelli, and Dr. Reeser for your leadership. It is an incredible honor to stand here before you today as the newly appointed assistant principal of Mainland High School. I want to express my sincere appreciation to our current administration team for your support and your belief in me. Thank you for your guidance and your welcoming me to this new role. This moment is deeply personal because Mainland is my foundation. I'm proud graduate of Mainland High School. I graduated in 1990, and many of my values that I carry today are rooted from Mainland High School, from those classroom walls and the classroom halls. Even more special is the legacy I'm honored to continue. My father, Amos Bars, dedicated over 30 years. Most of those years were right here at Mainland. Stand where he stood and to serve the community he served, both humbling and inspiring. To the faculty and staff, thank you for your dedication and your passion to our students each and every day. I look forward to working alongside you and supporting your incredible work that you do and the incredible work that's happening on campus. Mainland has always been a part of who I am, and now more than ever, I'm committed to helping and ensuring every student that walks through those halls feels the same, feels seen, supported, and prepared for success. So I thank you for this opportunity, and let's continue to do great things together. And those who know the saying can say it with me. But pride
Never dies.
Moving right along, number 7. Roger Bismore, please join us. Roger. So to share with you a little bit about Mr. Bismore, he's obtained his bachelor's degree from Kaiser University in Georgia, a master's degree from Florida Gulf Coast University, holds certification in the following areas: Ed Leadership, Business Ed, 6 through 12. He's been with Volusia County Schools since 2018, started as a teacher at DeLand High, and then became a teacher on assignment at Pine Ridge High, currently serving as an administrative dean at Pine Ridge High. Today, I'm recommending that Mr. Roger Bismore becomes the new assistant principal for New Smyrna Beach High. Effective start date July 21st, 2025.
Thank you. Board members, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Do I have someone that would like to make a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mrs. Brosmer, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of Mr. Roger Bismore becoming the assistant principal at New Smyrna Beach High, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Congratulations, it passes unanimously.
Good evening, School Board Chair Haynes, Vice Chair Mr. Cologne, esteemed members Ms. Goodrich, Ms. Brosmer, Ms. Thompson, and of course Superintendent Dr. Balgobin. I want to thank all of you and the entire district leadership team for your confidence in me. I fully understand the responsibility this role carries, and I'm committed to dedicating myself to the success and well-being of this school community. I recognize that every experience along my career journey has contributed to shaping who I am today, and my time at Pine Ridge High School was brief but significant. The relationships I formed with students and staff have left a lasting impact, and leaving those connections behind is bittersweet. The memories made will always hold a special place in my heart. I would also like to thank a few individuals from my time there who have significantly influenced my growth as a person and a school leader, starting with Mr. Bill Reeser, Julian Doster, Mr. Madsen Kanji, Cheryl Selesky, Adrian Palmer, and Danielle McMahon. I'm grateful for everything each one of you has taught me and all that you have contributed to my personal and professional development. Your continued support and guidance mean more to me than my words can express. I want to thank my wife, my children, and our entire family. Your unwavering patience, sacrifice, and constant love and support have been my anchor throughout this journey, and I'm thankful for all that you have done. I also want to thank Principal Merrick for welcoming me to the team and entrusting me with this opportunity. I'm excited to join a school with such a rich tradition and look forward to contributing to its continued success. As assistant principal at New Smyrna Beach High School, I'm excited to serve a vibrant school that truly stands as the heart of the community. I am committed to fostering an environment where every student and staff member feels valued, empowered, and supported. It's an honor to become part of the CUDA family, and I look forward to contributing to the positive and supportive atmosphere that makes this school so special. Thank you all again for this incredible opportunity. I look forward to the journey ahead and to making a meaningful difference in the lives of our students and community.
Thank you.
Jacob Cavey, please join us. Mr. Cavey has obtained his bachelor's degree from Weber International University, a master's degree from the American College of Education, certifications in Ed Leadership, exceptional student education, worked as a teacher at Liberty High in Kissimmee, then became a support facilitator / teacher at Apopka High. What a small world. Served as administrative dean at All Stars Program City of Orlando. Also served as an administrative dean at College Park Middle in Orlando. Went on to become an intervention teacher, the MTSS lead specialist at Wolf Lake Middle, Apopka. Been with Volusia County Schools since 2021. served as an ESC support facilitation at DeLand Middle, and currently serving as the Administrative Dean at Deltona Middle. I'm recommending that Mr. Jacob Cavey becomes the new Assistant Principal for Deltona Middle with the effective start date of July 1st, 2025. I know many of your stomping grounds.
Thank you, Dr. Bachman. Board members, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Do I have someone that would like to make a motion?
I will gladly make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Cologne. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. Any discussion?
And I do have something to say.
What?
That's okay. Yes.
Go ahead.
I want to, a few years ago, him and I had a wonderful conversation about what's next, and I'm so glad to see this moment finally came. It's all about his timing, and so congratulations, and I'm glad to see you here and still in D5, so that's...
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of Mr. Jacob Cavey becoming the Assistant Principal at Deltona Middle, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations and welcome.
Good evening, school board members Haynes, Cologne, Goodrich, Brosmere, and Thompson, and Superintendent Balgobin, and everyone. I'm extremely honored to be accepted for this position as Assistant Principal at Deltona Middle School. My journey in education has taken me across 3 different districts in Central Florida as an ESC teacher, and my 10 years of experience as an educational leader across 2 districts has greatly prepared me for this role at Deltona Middle School. I want to thank all the former administrators I've worked with throughout my career who've taught me how to be an effective school leader. To my current administration team, Ms. Buckner, Ms. Mason, and Ms. Glenzer, thank you for your support. And a special thank you to my principal, Dr. Henson, who has been an exceptional mentor and allowed me to gain invaluable knowledge of the roles and responsibilities needed to be a great school leader. To all the stakeholders of Deltona Middle School, our staff, students, and community, it has been an amazing 2+ years serving this community, and I look forward to continuing to build a safe, inclusive school environment where all students can thrive. Finally, I must thank my wife and family who could not be here tonight due to prior engagements with our family vacation. You stepped up today, again, as you've done countless times when I'm late getting home because of a school function that needed my attention. I could not have done this without you. I love you. As I step into this new role, I'm committed to serving our students, supporting our staff, and strengthening our partnership with the community. Together, we will continue to make Deltona Middle School a place where every student feels valued, supported, and empowered to succeed. Thank you again for this incredible opportunity.
You're welcome.
Ms. Sierra Holcomb, please join us. Ms. Holcomb obtained her bachelor's degree from Daytona State University, a master's degree from the University of Central Florida, holds certification in the following areas: Ed Leadership, Exceptional Student Education, English Speakers of Other Languages, Elementary Ed, Middle Grades Math, and Reading. She's been with Volusia County since 2013, started as a teacher at South Daytona Elementary, and then became a math coach at South Daytona Elementary and Campbell Middle. Went on to becoming a teacher on assignment at Ormond Middle, and currently serving as an administrative dean at Ormond Middle. I'm recommending that Ms. Sierra Holcomb becomes the new assistant principal for River Springs Middle with the effective start date of July 21st, 2025.
Thank you, Dr. Bachman. Board members, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Do I have someone that will make a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Brosmer. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Goodrich. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of Ms. Sierra Holcomb becoming the new assistant principal at River Springs Middle, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations and welcome.
Good evening. To the school board members, Haynes, Cologne, Goodrich, Bosmer, and Thompson, to Superintendent, I stand here before you today with deep gratitude and a strong sense of purpose as I accept the role of Assistant Principal at River Springs Middle School. It is truly an honor to step into this position, and I do so with humility, dedication, and excitement for what lies ahead. First, I would like to thank Principal Vaughn, Dr. Drayton, Dr. Valier, Superintendent Balgobin, and the school board for placing their trust in me. I also want to express my appreciation to my colleagues, mentors, and dedicated educators that have shaped my journey to this point. You know who you are. Thank you to my family for supporting and encouraging me to pursue my goals. Education is not just a career for me, it is a calling. As assistant principal, my goal is to support a safe, inclusive, and inspiring learning environment where every student feels valued, every teacher is empowered, and every parent is a partner. This is a shared mission. Together, we will continue to raise expectations, celebrate growth, and build a strong foundation that already exists at River Springs Middle School, the Gator Way. I believe in the power of listening, collaboration, and leading with empathy. Whether it's solving problems, encouraging a struggling student, or advocating new initiatives, I'm here to serve with integrity and heart. In closing, I'm energized by the possibilities before you. I know that by working together, we will not only meet the challenges, but turn them into opportunities to grow stronger as educators, as students, and as a community. Thank you for your opportunity. Go Gators.
All right, number 10, Jackie Johnson, please join us. Mr. Johnson has obtained his bachelor's degree from Stetson University, master's degree from the University of Central Florida, holds certification in the following areas: exceptional student education. He's been with Volusia County Schools since 2019. Started as a teacher at DeLand High, then became a teacher on assignment at Deltona High, currently serving as an administrative dean at Deltona High. Today, I'm recommending that Mr. Number 10, Jackie Johnson, becomes the assistant principal for Deltona High with an effective start date of July 1st, 2025.
Board members, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Do I have someone to make a motion to approve?
I will gladly make the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Cologne. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Brosmer. Any discussion?
Absolutely. And so it wasn't long ago, we were standing in the middle of class change, and I said to you, what are your plans? What do you want to do? And so again, I am extremely grateful that you are here, and it's kind of prophetic because we definitely got a 10 in Mr. being our assistant principal at Deltona High. So go Wolves, and congratulations, and I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
And still in D5.
Any other discussion? Okay, then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of Mr. Jackie Johnson becoming the new assistant principal at Deltona High, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you, school board members, Jamie Haynes, Rumi Cologne, Christina Goodrich, Donna Brosmer, and Jesse Thompson. And special thanks to Superintendent Balgaman. I want to start by expressing my sincere gratitude for the opportunity to serve as assistant principal at Deltona High School. It is truly an honor to step into this role and remain a part of a team that is deeply committed to the success and well-being of our students. I would like to thank some people who played a part in me getting here. First, my incredible mother. Without her sacrifice and dedication to raising me and my siblings, I would not be in front of you today. I thank her for all she has done. She truly is my why. With me being a product of Volusia County Schools, I would like to thank every teacher, coach, and principal that I came across on this journey. Every one of them played a part in molding the man I am today. I must give a special thanks to my mentors, Principal DeGirolamo and Coach Alice Russell, both whom I met at 13 years old, who never stopped believing in me. It is people like them who represent what this county stands for. I would also like to thank Mr. McAuliffe, Dr. Lapnow, Mr. Franks, and the rest of my team at Deltona for believing in me the very first day I stepped on campus. Your belief and encouragement means the world to me. Lastly, I'd like to thank God for his grace, for without him, there is no me. Thank you.
All right.
So at this time, we're going to start photos, and we'll do them in the order in which you were presented this evening. Thank you.
All right, if I can have Mr. Langenbach come up. And your families are all welcome to join you.
Please,
Right up here.
please bring your families and anyone with you that needs to be in the photos.
Okay, first photo. Go ahead and grab it. First photo.
Thank you for having him join us.
Everyone get close. I need just right in front. A little bit tighter. Just moving right to the center. There we go. There we go. The shoes. All right. Everyone get close. Three, two, one.
If I can have you exit this way with me.
All right, next group. We'll go ahead and have you move up.
To be doctor.
Everyone get close together. There we go. Yep. Okay, everyone, look this direction. And there we go. All right, and 2, 1, smile. Perfect.
You can come this way with me.
All right, next group.
Oh, you're good. You're good. You can come this way with me. Sorry, the voices.
She's wearing the green. I got it.
No, I was in church 3 times. Just got home.
All righty, everyone but Mike.
I wish we could have done what I want.
Three, two, one. Let's go. Next group.
Let's go. Good work.
If I can get Mr. Bismore and family to line up.
Family, if you'll go right to the center, we'll get you ready for the photo.
Swag bag on my way out.
Just crowd around in the group. All right, everyone ready? Ready. All right, ready? Everyone, all right, ready? Three, two.
I can have everyone come this way with me, please. Thank you. Congratulations.
All the way to the center.
Right to the center.
What's going on here? I'm being hard. I'm coming back over. Everyone get real close in my direction. Here we go.
You guys can follow me this way more.
We're gonna take you right to the center. Right to the center. First round's on Doster. Second round's on Doster. Third round's on Doster.
Appreciate everything from you, sir.
Congratulations. All right, everyone, if I can get you right to the center. Thank you. It's okay. All right, be great.
No one leaves.
All right. My direction. Here we go. Three, two. All right, next. This way, guys, this way.
You guys can follow me this way.
Thank you. Good hanging out with her.
Congratulations to Katie. He's awesome. We're not getting anybody here. Our dean is going to.
Heather, you guys get a picture.
Now we're going to be looking forward.
And Henrik.
What's that?
Look at her picture. Support her. Ready. And everyone in my direction. Three.
If you guys want to head out.
Well, I didn't even get a picture of her. Why didn't you go get that picture? Yeah, I didn't want to ask you and ask her. But we don't have an actual chapter yet. I should have been there talking to me.
I've been with Amy every day.
Oh, yeah,
She said that she meant.
I'm ready for you, Green.
She meant salt yesterday. I told C2 they need to get the robotics stuff.
July 2nd.
Yeah.
So then I was going to
I told him today, I was like, you gotta get this.
By the way, that's his mom. That's your soul.
Still not paying attention. Like,
Until you look smaller.
Don't tell him that. We'll be in the gym all night.
You let me know.
Thanks, Mom.
Did I?
Oh, yeah, sure.
You have to wait until break. Like that child in the classroom.
At this time, we are moving on to item 7.01, removal of any items from the consent agenda. Dr. Balgobin, are there any items requiring removal from the consent agenda?
Chair, actually, item 16.06, which is the generator for Brewster, I'm asking that that be removed from the agenda. We have had a discussion, and this item is not necessary at this moment.
Okay, thank you. Board members, are there any items on the consent agenda that you would like to remove for further discussion or as a standalone item? Mrs. Brosmer?
I have actually two, it looks like more than that, but it's the 1101, 1102, 1103, 1104, they're all in a group and the questions apply to all of them, so you can consider that as one if that's appropriate. And the other is 13.16.
13 point what?
16.
Okay, so if I have it correct, I have 11.01, 11.02, 11.03, and 11.04, and 13.16.
Correct.
Okay, Mr. Cologne?
Yes, I wanted to have a discussion on 16.21 and 16.22.
Okay, 16.1 and 16.2.
16.21 and 16.22, is that it?
Oh, sorry.
And I don't want those for separate vote, just
What?
without a separate vote, just some,
You just want discussion?
yes.
Do you want?
Me too.
Okay, so I have to remove 16.06 based on the superintendent's recommendation. Then Ms. Brosmer would like to have discussion on 11.01, 11.02, 11.03, 11.04, and 13.16, followed by discussion by Mr. Cologne on 16.21 and 16.22. So we'll start with 11.01. I see you're coming this way. We have Ms. Tammy Fisher and Ms. Patty Core.
I apologize, Chair, if I could intervene on 1606. Can I clarify what the action was on 1606, please?
Yes.
Can you clarify for me what the action?
The superintendent asked to totally remove it from the agenda.
Okay, I emailed Dr. Evans and the superintendent, because that's gone through the procurement process, it has to be pulled and for a separate vote and then voted to vote nay, because it's already gone through the competitive solicitation process, so we can't just pull. You could pull it, but we'd have to bring it back to the next meeting, and we wouldn't have a resolution, if you don't mind.
We'll do that in the, we will do that at the end of, after they have the discussion, okay?
Thank you very much. Sorry for the interruption.
No problem. So we have Ms. Tammy Fisher here for items 11.01, 2, 3, and 4. Okay.
Yes. Good evening. Hi. Thank you for this. As I was reading the grant or the grants plural, my impression, this is entirely for my own information because I'm just trying to understand how this works. But it's a total of almost $1.2 million. So
Are you
on the
speaking of
four
the
together,
21st century ones? Is that the one you're?
the ones that are on the agenda, that's the best I can tell you. So I was curious to know, well, first of all, the grants require teachers to be hired to fill these positions. Is that in addition to any teacher vacancies that we might have, or is that, are our teacher vacancies included in there?
Okay, well, within those 4 different grants, 3 of those are talking about the 21st Century Grant. And that grant, those employees, the people that we're hiring for that, they are in addition to what would normally be on staff at the school, because 21st Century happens before school and after school typically. So sometimes we employ teachers that are currently at that school. Other times, we have teachers that maybe work at a neighboring school that want to come and run the program or be a part of the program there.
Okay, thank you. That touches on one of my other questions. There's a salary and benefits figure block for each of these. Is that for one teacher? For how many teachers? Does it vary depending on the school?
Does the dollar amount vary, or
No,
does the
well, the
number of
dollar
teachers?
amounts do vary, but the number of teachers.
Yeah, that's based on the number of students in the program. So some schools have a morning and an afternoon, like at the elementary and one of the middle schools, they do have a morning and afternoon. Others just have an afternoon, so it just really depends on how many kids are in the program. And yeah, because there's ratios for students to adults. So when they're providing tutoring, the ratio is like 10-1, but if they're providing them with enrichment, it's like 20-1.
Okay, that makes sense. And that also touches on one of my questions, which is, do we know at the beginning of a school year how many students are going to be participating in this program? Is there kind of an average number who participate?
For all of these schools, this is not the first cohort that they have participated in. When schools participate in 21st Century, they are part of a cohort for 4 years. So this is coming up, this school year is the last year of this cohort 20 for these 3 schools. So initially, I'm sure way back when, before they didn't have 21st Century, they probably had to do some sort of survey to find out the interest and how many students, how many parents were interested in students participating. But now at this point, these programs have been in those schools so long that it's just part of what the school is. It's part of who the school is.
Okay, that helps a lot. Thank you. So if the same students are participating over a period of time, is there a way to track their progress? Is there a success measurement?
Absolutely. Each program is required to turn in monthly to the state progress points. And those progress points differ from month to month, depending on what the state's asking for. But their benchmarks are looking at their grades, looking at their behavior, their referrals. They're really looking at the whole child. So they're working on the academic piece, but they're also working on social skills and life skills.
Okay, well, that raises a question I didn't know I had. Does that then enhance, presumably it enhances their grades in their regular classes?
That is the goal, to help them academically and social emotionally, with behavior, those school behaviors, improve those.
Okay. And you said we've been doing this for 4 years. I think that's all my questions.
Okay.
I just wanted to understand better how it worked. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Did you have any other questions, though, about 11.01, which is the Title IX?
No, most of my questions were applied to all of them. So that's why I kind of grouped them. We don't have to do them individually.
Okay. All right, then we're moving on to item 13.16, which falls under financial services and procurement.
Bye. Okay, I really like this one.
Okay.
This is, I'm sorry. This is a new program, a new pilot of some sort. The way it was presented, it looked like it might be new.
No, for the DJJ?
Not DJJ entirely, but this particular structured partnership.
No, this partnership is just a cooperative agreement that we have to have every year with DJJ and us as the school district to provide services for these students that are incarcerated.
Okay, so this isn't something new and different. This is what we're doing now.
Yes, ma'am. It's an agreement that we have to go into every year with them.
In that case, I have no questions.
Awesome.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Then now we're moving on to item 16.21.
Madam Chair, if I can speak to 16.06, since we have to vote on that one separately, or are we going to do that one just later?
No, I was going to do all of these.
And then later? Okay.
16.21.
So nothing I say should surprise anybody who's heard me talk about purchasing land before. And so one of the things I asked, not being a real estate appraiser, agent, or any of the like, is what is the value of each land? And the answer was, we don't really know. They brought back, they did respond back talking about just value, but anybody who knows anything about real estate, which I did, was a realtor at one time, little known secret, knows that just value. And so I am not necessarily opposed to this. I just really truly dislike when something comes before us and we don't have a defined value that says, okay, while I realize it's a trade for a like piece of land, 6 acres in Deltona and 6 acres on beachfront are both 6 acres, but they're not likely not the same. And so for the sake of transparency, I wish I could say, okay, this is worth this much, this is worth this much. Let's go ahead and have this trade so that at least we can make that kind of an educated decision. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to be dollar for dollar. I'm not saying that it's not. It just seems like right now with the information given, I don't know that one is of equal value to trade. And so I'm not opposed to this. I just have a hard time because I don't have enough information. And I just wish anytime we were talking about giving away land, swapping land, selling land, that we had an actual appraisal, which is a better indication of the worth of that property. And the same thing, so same thing for 16.21 and 22, because we don't know what it's really worth.
May I say something?
Sure.
Okay, so I have direct experience with both pieces of these properties. First of all, because at one time in one of my positions, I was housed at Silver Sands in the Herbert Street buildings that are right there, which that's where the property is behind. And we've had an agreement, and then also I've been at Horizon when the kids have been outside playing. So we don't have a playground area at Horizon. So we have been using this property with an agreement with Port Orange, the city. And quite frankly, it's a valuable piece of property because where it sits, and there's an entire community there and all of that. And at the Silver Sands Herbert Street property, we in turn have allowed Port Orange to have events out there for students to play different sports and things like that, because I would work late and watch them come in and watch them go out. And we've had issues, though, at the Silver Sands Herbert Street property where I think even former administrators there would tell you they kind of wanted that area like blocked off so that kids didn't wander off campus into it during the day and all that. But they match almost identically in acreage, but I'll tell you value-wise, this deal is much better for us value-wise, because if we had to buy that piece of property in order, if we don't do a switch, then we may have to buy that piece of property or we will have no playground for the students at Horizon Elementary. And so working with the city and the city agreeing to do a swap with us, which then is benefiting all of our students. It's benefiting our students at Horizon Elementary, as well as it's benefiting our students that are playing sports that live in Port Orange. To me, it's a win-win. Now, when you gave your example, you gave a piece of property in Deltona versus a piece of property in Beachside. Both of these pieces of property are sitting in Port Orange, and they're not very far from each other. Huh?
2 miles.
That's what I was going to say. 2 miles apart, but there's a world of difference in what they can be used for. Ms. Goodrich has something she wants to say.
You said a lot of what I was going to say. I think in this scenario, we're getting a screaming good deal. And so I hear you on the appraisal. If it was reversed, I might feel the same as you. But sometimes when there's a gift horse in the mouth kind of thing, this is a really good opportunity for Volusia County to get a huge benefit in this trade. So that's all.
So you know that because you've been there, you've seen it, you
And
know
I'm a
the
licensed
area.
real estate agent, and I have looked at it all. Yeah.
Well, you're close by. And so again, I'm not saying that it's not a good deal. I'm not disagreeing. But nobody here can tell me what both are worth. Ingress, egress, all these different things play into this. And so I just wish we had that information for any piece of land, any property, so that we could make an educated decision as to what something is worth when we're making that vote. That's all and that's just a policy decision. We could talk about that later off the table. Nobody's surprised that I said it. I say it on every piece of land we've ever done anything with, and it's always the same. So thank you. No questions. I'm good. Like I said, the
Okay.
process part, it just drives me
And we
nuts.
have heard, and Mr. Cologne, we have heard you say that before, and anything that we have put up for surplus, we do have our 1 or 2 appraisals now, and the reason we didn't in this case is because it was a swap, and we didn't want to spend, it would have been $2,000 to $2,500 per property, so being fiduciarily, times 2, $5,000-ish we were saving because of maybe I can't tell you the exact price of each one sold separately, but the size being equal and the use for our students is what really prompted this along, and our great working relationship with the city of Port Orange with regard to this particular land swap. But Horizon, when it was built, is landlocked, and there's no space for anything there without this other property. And the city of Port Orange was going to build soccer fields regardless. Our ILA would expire, we would have nothing then. So now they have another place to build their soccer fields, so we have recess and PE for our students. So that's what prompted that. But I hear you.
Thank you.
Any other questions on that? Okay, then thank you very much. At this time, we're going to vote to approve the consent agenda as presented, minus the removal of 16, what?
0.06.
Oh, sorry, I do have a public comment. I apologize. Miss Elizabeth Albert wishes to speak on item 15.01. Please come forward. And welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Balgobin, audience. I am regarding item 15. West Porterfield to highly qualified to take the position. That's fantastic. But I did have some questions specific to this newly created position, Director of Strategic Academic Operations. leadership and oversight. Have in the district. I'm curious about that. I wonder if the that marker and identifier is VCS. About what we were listening to this morning. And knowing that we've just come through a cycle of allocations for instructional in our schools, working directly just want to make sure that, as it was mentioned, we continue to focus on our students. Every dollar has a job, so my suggestion would be that that we are all here. Lifelong learners prepared for an ever-changing global academically successful.
Thank you. All right, we are now, I'm asking for someone to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, minus the removal of item 16.06, which we're going to vote on as a standalone item. Do I have someone that will make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, minus 1606?
I'll motion to approve.
Thank you. Ms. Goodrich, do I have someone that will second it?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor of approving tonight's consent agenda minus item 16.06, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, it passes unanimously. Now we're going to do item 16.06 as a standalone item. So, and here comes Mrs. Core. Is there any, okay, who would like to make a motion
Madam Chair.
to, we're not approving.
I know.
What? Go ahead, Mr. Cologne.
So I'll share with you all, this was something I'm very appreciative of staff and everyone who has worked this week. You know, this showed up on the agenda and I said to myself, what do we need a generator at Brewster for? Brewster's the building across the street, which houses a lot of our offices. And so if I thought to myself, if there's no power in that building, those folks should go home. Okay, they have laptops. We're in a world of, you know, they could go work anywhere. And so I'm very grateful. I'm sure Ms. Core will share a little bit of the background and how the superintendent came to the conclusion. However, I'm grateful to staff and everyone who answered the call to say, to take a moment to look at it. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cologne. So there was a time in Brewster, which is across the parking lot, housed one of our technology hubs, and Dr. Kuhn is also here as well. That hub has been relocated. There is still a piece of equipment there that runs some of our technology equipment. However, it is on a battery backup. So he has assured us that that's why the generator was put in initially, was because it ran one of our hubs, which would be maybe 16 sites, you know, through our computer. I'm not a technology person, but Dr. Kuhn can explain that. At any rate, the reason it was there, that equipment is no longer there. The piece of equipment that remains is on a battery backup, so Dr. Kuhn assures us that we no longer need the generator to run it, so therefore we don't need to replace the generator.
Thank you. So for that reason, I'd like to make a motion that we not approve this expenditure at this time, or not approve this expenditure period.
I'll second that.
All right, you've heard the motion made by Mr. Cologne to not approve the purchase of the generator, seconded by Mrs. Goodrich. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of not approving item 16.06, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, it passes unanimously and
Thank you.
it is not approved.
Thank you.
At this time, then, we're going to move on into public comment. 6.01, I have 3 cards. So you'll each have 3 minutes. I'm going to announce the first and second speaker, and then if they'll come forward, and then we'll announce the third. So, Ms. Albert, you actually have spot number 1 and spot number 2.
Which one would you like first? How about I do Ms. Zimmerman's first? You okay with that?
Okay, that's fine.
And I apologize, I didn't realize I turned the mic off when I hit it before, so thank you, Danielle, appreciate you.
Okay, let me get this ready.
You ready? All right, good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Balgobin, members of the audience. I'm reading on behalf of a member. At the beginning of each school year, we are required as employees to view a training video on harassment and sign a statement acknowledging both our understanding of the material and our obligation to report any witnessed incidents of harassment. As employees, we take this responsibility seriously. On behalf of a group of teachers at University High School, I am writing to express deep concern over the lack of response to a formal complaint submitted to professional standards regarding serious allegations of harassment by a white male employee to an African-American female employee. A team of 5 teachers submitted a comprehensive multi-page document outlining multiple incidents. These included but were not limited to the individual allegedly referring to female colleagues using derogatory language and a report of a student asking a staff member why she was not dating the individual, an interaction clearly prompted by inappropriate behavior and comments from the male teacher. Despite the gravity and detail of these allegations, spanning 9 pages, none of the 5 reporting teachers were contacted or interviewed about the incidents. To date, we have seen no evidence of an investigation, no effort to ensure the safety and dignity of staff, and no accountability. We have been informed that the matter was handled, yet there is reportedly no record of any of this in the individual's file. Meanwhile, these teachers have continued to work in what is easily described as a hostile and dismissive environment. This lack of follow-up not only undermines the trust we place in our reporting system, but also sends a deeply troubling message to the entire staff that harassment can be reported without consequences or resolution. We are requesting 1, a formal acknowledgement of the complaint submitted. 2, a transparent explanation of how the matter was addressed. 3, an assurance that steps will be taken to investigate this fully and fairly. 4, a review of current harassment reporting protocols and enforcement practices to ensure future reports are handled appropriately. Thank you for your time. Alicia Zimmerman. And for full transparency purposes, this issue was brought to our union at the end of the 23-24 school year. We have continuously intervened to seek a resolution, yet after many conversations with school and district level administrators, labor management, and during a recent discussion in a meeting between VIEW and the manager of professional standards and other district leaders, we were told that the situation was being looked into. Finally, as stated in the letter I just read to you, a group of colleagues who have witnessed these egregious offenses firsthand have followed the chain of command and brought their concerns first to administration at the school, the Office of Professional Standards, and most recently sent an email to each of you dated May 28th. Yet no visible action or evidence is available to determine how this situation was addressed or corrected. To date, the individual who was the victim of the harassment has yet to be acknowledged, supported, or given any real sense that their voice matters. It's been silence instead of action. Stop there.
And you're up for number 2, and number 3 will be Jake Norman.
All right, good evening again, Madam Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Balgobin, members of the audience. Everyone working in our schools, whether they're teaching, cleaning, driving a bus, or supporting students, should feel safe, respected, and valued. It shouldn't be too much to expect a workplace where people look out for each other, speak up when something isn't right, and treat each other with basic human kindness. When individuals feel like they matter, they do better work, and our schools become better places for everyone, especially the students who count on us every single day. I speak today on behalf of the dedicated educators and staff who serve this district with integrity and professionalism, those who work every day to make our students, schools, this district, and our communities the best they can be. However, it is with deep concern that I raise the issue of a persistent lack of accountability in the handling of allegations of harassment and inappropriate behavior. Our members report feeling unheard, unprotected, and disillusioned by a district that too often prioritizes reputation and optics over justice and accountability for all. This silence and inaction not only undermines trust, but it also fosters a culture where people become apathetic and pessimistic about the future. Despite repeated reports and evidence of misconduct to school and district leadership, we continue to witness incidents where administrators and leaders fail to act decisively, allowing offenders to remain in positions of authority without consequence. This inaction not only betrays the trust of our staff, but it also sends a message that power shields individuals from accountability. If those in leadership roles are unwilling to confront issues, then they become complicit in the harm that is occurring. Our school deserves leaders that are courageous enough to take action, even when it is uncomfortable, unpopular, or difficult. That is what leaders do. We urge you to examine recent issues that have been brought forward. It is evident that those tasked with fixing this situations have failed. This failure has resulted in the loss of multiple instructional personnel, staff that are disillusioned and lack confidence in site and district-based leadership. Unfortunately, this is not isolated to just one school or work site. We are asking you to create a work environment where people feel safe to speak up without fear. The research by Amy Edmondson describes these environments as being psychologically safe. If teachers and staff don't feel safe to report misconduct or raise concerns, and if problems continue to go unaddressed, trust erodes. We know that creating a culture of openness and respect isn't just nice to have, it's essential for a healthy, high-performing workplace. We're counting on you, as leaders of this district, to intervene on behalf of the teachers and staff of Volusia County Schools to put an end to the culture of silence and self-preservation at the expense of accountability. Thank you.
Next up is Jake Norman. Welcome.
Hey, welcome. Good evening. My name is Jake Norman. After 13 years in education, 8 of them at University High School, I was recently displaced under the explanation of budget cuts. I'm speaking not just out of personal disappointment, but deep concern for the message this decision sends. When University hired its new head football coach, Coach Trumley, in February, it did so despite administration, including Principal Wiles, knowing this person was verbally and sexually harassing 2 separate female colleagues.
Madam Chair, point of order. Attorney, are these topics allowed, seeing as they are pendingly being investigated by professional standards and the individual is not here to be able to speak for himself based on our policy?
Mention what? The documented incidents?
Because it's being investigated.
He said into the microphone so everyone can hear you.
Stop the timer, please.
This is being investigated, so we're going to ask you, we're not going to comment on that.
However, it said it was closed investigation, that it was already been investigated by the school, that it's not ongoing.
Pulling up the policy right now.
Well-
That's a personal attack, and so our policy currently reads, or I'll let the attorney.
Yeah, and if it's a personal attack, we have the right to actually stop, the chair has a right to actually stop someone from speaking. Excuse me. Chair has the right to actually stop if it's a personal attack on an individual.
I don't have to mention the name.
And so here's my point, and I'm going to be very clear in my point. If somebody had an issue with you and came to our meeting and said, Mr. Such and Such did this, and this, and you were sitting at home, would that be?
I can leave the name out if that.
And so that's my point of order.
Okay, I have one question. Is the investigation open or closed?
It is closed.
So there's a closed investigation, and Mr. Norman, you're coming to talk about a closed investigation. Does that change it?
But it's a personal attack against someone.
Okay, please.
Right, I can take the name. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Obviously, I wouldn't have done that. But
Please.
move on without names if that.
Please, thank you.
Yeah,
Just because it's the
Okay,
right thing.
hold on just a moment though, because when that was called, we were at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Can you give him back the seconds?
Oh.
Okay. I want you to have the time. Okay. All right, so please proceed.
Absolutely. All right, these are not rumors. They are HR documented incidents that were ignored by leadership, even despite signed witness statements from 5 members of the PE department. That leadership includes principal, human resources, and professional standards at the district level, and countless others across the district. This person was protected because of his personal relationship with administration. What message is the board and district sending to your educators that this behavior shown this year is not only tolerated, but you are rewarded with more opportunities as highly qualified educators are being asked to move to another field? As I mentioned, I was displaced after 13 years in education, but this truly isn't about this situation. I'm excited about moving to a new school district where education is actually a priority and where my son will learn from educators and school leaders with higher morals than what I was witnessed this year. This is about the kids and the message we're sending them when this behavior is so flagrantly tolerated across all levels of the district. The tone that was set this year is that our administration and this district will not protect our staff and teachers. If you speak out, there will be consequences to this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Norman. Are there any other cards, Ms. Johnson? Okay. Then at this time, we're moving on to item 20.01, but I think we'll take a short break before that. So it is now 6:22. Let's be back in here at 6:40.
I guess nobody told you that women are supposed to have a weak upper body
Welcome
and a stronger
back.
lower body, right?
It is 6:42 PM.
You're trying to prove everybody wrong.
And we're moving on to item 20.01, adoption of proposed amendments to School Board Policy 208S, Student Code of Conduct and Discipline for Secondary. Dr. Balgobin?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to ask Mr. Mike McAuliffe, our Executive Director for Grad Assurance and Student Services. As you know, this item was presented earlier today during workshop, and the board requested some changes to be made. So Mr. McAuliffe is going to discuss those.
That's the next one. This
The
one is
next
for
one,
the,
right.
yeah, for the screenings, for the dog, for 208, yes.
Oh, we're
This has already
Correct.
been advertised. You guys are voting on it, yes.
This is the part that's already been advertised when
Yes.
we added the canines.
canines.
And so,
Just want to adopt that.
right, so we want to adopt the proposed amendments to School Board Policy 208S.
Correct.
And so my question is, we advertised it for the correct amount of time, and did we have any input? Do we have any cards? Okay, then Board Member, Dr. Balgobin, you have a recommendation.
Yeah, I recommend the adoption of the proposed amendments to School Board Policy 208S, Student Code of Conduct and Discipline for Secondary.
Okay, board members, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Do I have someone that'd like to make a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Thank you, Mr. Cologne. Do I have
Second.
Who said, thank you, Mrs. Brosmer. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approving the amendments to School Board Policy 208S, Student Code of Conduct and Discipline for Secondary, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes unanimously. We are now moving on to item 2.02, authorization to advertise proposed amendments to School Board Policy 208E and S, Student Code of Conduct and Discipline. This is what we talked about in the workshop earlier today.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, and I have Heidi here, Ms. Crimmins, is going to go over the suggested changes here for policy 208S and 208E to make sure we have those all correct that we stated this afternoon from the workshop.
Yes, we did make the changes, and under parent and guardian responsibilities, we did add the language of partners in education. Under Code of Civility on School Board Property, we also added our community partners in education language to that. Under the Safety and Security heading, when it came to searches and to further define District Placement Committee, we added the language of referral to the District Placement Committee for consideration of up to expulsion, alternative education placement, or off-campus instruction. For bullying, under Level 3 offense, we did clarify the definition for bullying, and it reads, a pattern of behavior displayed against multiple students or employees or repetitive behavior against a single student or employee which inflicts physical hurt or psychological distress that is severe or pervasive enough to create an intimidating, hostile, or offensive environment, or unreasonably interfere with the individual's school performance or participation, including through electronic means. The behavior must have been reported to school officials. And finally, under the cell phone and wireless devices, we added the language that the school board and school personnel shall not be liable for the loss or damage of any cell phone or wireless communication device brought on school property, school transportation, or to school activity.
Did we miss any recommendations or changes?
No, I'd like to thank you for, that's the best definition of bullying I've heard in a long time. And so I want to thank you for that. Thank you.
Dr. Bachman?
Yes, ma'am. I recommend authority be granted to advertise proposed amendments to School Board Policy 208E and S, Code of Student Conduct and Discipline.
You've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Do I have someone that would do we have anyone to speak on this? Okay. Do I have someone that would like to make a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Brosmer. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Goodrich. Any further discussion from any board member? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approving to authorize the advertisement of the proposed amendments to School Board Policy 208 ENS Student Code of Conduct and Discipline, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, it passes unanimously. We are now moving on to item 2.03, authorization to advertise proposed amendments to School Board Policy 101, internal organization and operation of the School Board of Volusia County.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Evans, our board attorney / general counsel, will present on this.
Yes, we're recommending or asking the board to authorize the advertisement of one proposed change to this particular rule, and that change is to include under letter F, where the board meeting shall be conducted using Robert's Rules of Order. It's understood, but it was never expressly written in the policy.
Dr. Balgobin?
Yes, Madam Chair, I recommend authority be granted to advertise the proposed amendments to School Board Policy 101, internal organization and operation of the School Board of Volusia County, Florida.
Ms. Johnson, do we have anyone for public input? Okay, thank you. All right, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Do I have someone that would like to make a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Cologne. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approving the authorization to advertise proposed amendments to School Board Policy 101, internal organization and operation of the School Board of Volusia County, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes unanimously. We are now moving on to item 20.04, authorization to advertise proposed amendments to School Board Policy 523, School Board Vehicle Usage Policy.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Dr. Evans, and we also have Ms. Patty Core, just in case anyone has further questions.
Yes, thank you, Madam Superintendent. We are asking for authorization to advertise the changes herein written in policy 523, and we're adding G, and the revisions or the addition is we're going to ask for you to advertise for executive directors or cabinet members who utilize school board vehicles to be able to park those vehicles at their home Monday through Thursday, but over the weekend, the vehicles have to be returned to any Volusia County facility. We want to make it also clear that any cabinet members or executive directors who live outside of the county, you will have to continue to take your vehicle to the facility nightly.
Okay, hold on a minute.
Anything.
Huh? Dr. Balgobin, do you have a recommendation?
Yes, I do, Madam Chair. I recommend that the authority be granted to advertise the proposed amendments to School Board Policy 523, School Board Vehicle Usage Policy.
Okay, board members, you've heard the recommendation from the superintendent. Is there anyone that'd like to make a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Thank you, Mrs. Goodrich. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, now we're open for discussion. Mr. Cologne.
So I wonder, so if, let's say, a cabinet member who, let's say, lives in Orlando, goes to a conference in Tampa, arguably, they would have to drive that vehicle back to Volusia County that very day that they come back, rather than just bringing it back on Monday. And so I wonder if we can add a line, and I don't know, something at the bottom that says unless otherwise authorized by the superintendent or designee, so that if, let's say, it is Thursday night or you coming back on a Friday and you live in Orlando, you don't have to drive all the way back here to drop off a car. because we are saying they can't keep it over the weekend. And so I think that allowing that superintendent or designee, I don't even want to go to a director level. I want to keep it up there so that someone can speak to, I made the decision to allow Ruben to keep the car over the weekend there because of blank. And so I'm thinking of a sentence like that at the bottom there, unless otherwise authorized by the superintendent or designee.
Ms. Goodrich?
What is the reason that we're not letting someone out of the county keep the vehicle Monday through Thursday was my question. I agree with you though. If there, I mean, that's a waste of time, money, vehicle mileage for them to come back in certain situations. So I would agree with you on that. But my question was a little bit different. It was if someone lives in a different county, what is the reason that, like, they might be closer and live in a county right down the road than someone that lives by me.
Patty can address that.
Can I say something before we, okay. So here's my issue with what you just said, okay? So number one, if we use your scenario and they're in Tampa and they live in Orlando and it's a Friday afternoon that they're finishing a conference or a meeting and they just drive back to Orlando with the district vehicle. Well, their vehicle is sitting here in Volusia, okay? Because it's somewhere for the weekend. So now they don't have their vehicle to do anything they're going to do on the weekend. Whether they're going to grocery shop, go out to dinner, whatever they're going to do, they're going to continue to be using the district vehicle. I do not agree with that. So I see it differently than you because we're not paying for them to have that vehicle to use it on the weekend. What if they're going to a wedding over the weekend in Georgia? Well, now they're driving the district vehicle to the wedding in Georgia instead of their own vehicle. And personally, I wouldn't necessarily want my vehicle being left over the weekend at some of the spots where they're leaving vehicles. I'm being honest with you. I'd prefer to have my own vehicle for the weekend than what I've been assigned to. So this was a stretch for me to even do this because we've had issues over the years. And I don't know if you remember when we asked for a full thorough thing of who had White Fleet assigned to them, because we were getting pictures of White Fleet vehicles being in places they shouldn't have been, even over the weekends and things like that. And the community pays attention to that. And they're like, well, wait a minute, why is this Volusia County, vehicle up here in Palm Coast on the weekend? And what's the person doing? And where's the money coming from to fund that? So I was willing to make an exception on this, but Dr. Evans knows, I said, anybody that lives outside Volusia, I'm not for them driving their vehicle home with them because they made a choice to work in Volusia. And if they're choosing to live outside Volusia, why are we paying for the drive time for them to come in? And I asked for information about this. I asked currently where the White Fleet is assigned and who has them, because there is a rule that said they had to be driving within Volusia County with the White Fleet over, it's almost 9,000 miles a year before they should even have a vehicle assigned to them. And I haven't received, I don't think.
Here.
Oh.
I think I have the list here of those who have vehicles.
Yeah, that's the list of who resides in Volusia County. What she's talking about, Dr. Evans, is the people who qualify for the vehicle are people that it's more cost effective for us to let them use a school district vehicle versus pay mileage because they drive so much. I can say that currently of the cabinet members and executive directors, they all reside in Volusia County with the exception of our superintendent, but hers is covered under her own separate contract. We have 2 executive directors that live outside of Volusia County that have declined to use a Volusia County vehicle. Frankly, it's more cumbersome for them because they have to drive into somewhere, switch cars, and they might be going a different direction in the county for their first meeting of the day because they're at schools all the time. So we have several cabinet members who don't have district vehicles and 2 executive directors that don't have district vehicles.
Okay.
And you were right about why for the out of county. It's the wear and tear and the expense. It's not fair, for people to be driving 50 miles a day. I park my car 2 miles from where I live. So anyone who has a school board vehicle can park it at the school board location that's closest to their home. So they swap out and then they drive it for the day.
Okay, Ms. Brosmer?
I think I'm just looking for clarification about our current policy, because it was my understanding that anyone who had a district vehicle couldn't leave the county with it anyway. And Mr. Cologne's question had to do with going to a conference in Tampa. So would the use of the vehicle include being able to do something like that? I just didn't realize that was the case.
So, thank you, Ms. Chair Haynes. There's a form that everyone has to fill out if they're going out of the county, and it's called the out-of-county form. And that's if we're going to Orange County for a conference or Orlando for a conference, they fill out the out-of-county form, so then we're covered. And they can use the district vehicle, but that's for business purposes. That's part of their job, that they're expected to go to this conference or this event or this place. What we're talking about is just driving it home and then parking it there. That's not the intended use. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I can give an example that'll clarify that even more. There were 3 of us going to Miami-Dade a couple years ago for Volusia County business purposes. We rode together in one district vehicle, so therefore we each weren't driving our own vehicles, and then there has to be the reimbursement piece on it. We took one district vehicle, the 3 of us made the trip down there, and the 3 of us made the trip back, but the out-of-county form was filled out and approved. So we should always be looking for what is the least expensive way. We shouldn't be looking for how do we spend more money, but how do we spend less money when it comes to this. Okay. Do you have any other questions, Ms. Brosmer?
No, thank you.
Mr. Cologne?
So my proposed amendment is allowing the superintendent, we're not talking about a director, we're not talking about an assistant director, we're talking about Dr. Balgobin or whoever, let's say she's out of town, whoever her designee can say, you know what, Ruben, go ahead and keep the car at your home. Mind you, you made a good point. I may want to come on Saturday morning and swap my car out because I want to drive my car. But we're talking about not a blanket policy, an exception that would say, we understand, and the superintendent has approved, and of course, she's not going to say, take the car and drive to Georgia on your vacation, because everybody wants to be in a Ford Edge with a yellow tag that they can't even speed, okay? And so the absoluteness of cannot be stored overnight at their residence says it could be 10 o'clock when you're coming back from your conference, you now have to drive all the way back instead of waiting till the morning. And I think that the superintendent should have the authority to be able to make that exception when necessary. We're talking about exception. We're talking about it small. We're not talking about the daily driving at home because trust me, you pass the school that you drop the car off to get to your house and get out of your car and jump out of the fence and open the fence, pull the car in, which is pointless, but that's just how government works. So that's my proposed amendment.
Ms. Goodrich?
Do our vehicles have GPS in them?
No, ma'am.
Okay, that's just a question I had.
But to Mr. Cologne's point, every time, and Patty Core, every time that someone signs up to go to a conference, that's considered an event. So there are special forms that are filled out for accountability purposes. So depending if you're going to be using a vehicle to go, that's indicated also.
My vehicle was down once, and I asked, we had the conference in Tampa, and I can tell you there were more forms to drive that vehicle, which, by the way, you can't speed because it's got a yellow tag on it. It belongs to the school district, so you don't want to get a ticket, okay? It was harder to fill out those forms and what they asked for than it was to become a school board member. Like, really, like they know how many tickets you've gotten, how many have you been pulled over, this, that, the other. It was a lot. Like, I was surprised.
By policy, you have to report any tickets you get immediately.
I didn't get
Policy
it.
505.
I drove really slow. Anyways, like I said, this is an exception.
Anyone else? Brosmer?
Are we making a decision on the exception?
So I will, do I need a motion?
No, we have a
No,
motion.
there's a motion.
on the floor.
So I'm proposing a change to the language that is there.
But I already have a motion on the floor.
You made me wait to talk before, you wanted the motion before I could speak.
I have to have a motion before we can
My
speak.
point.
Is it a motion?
We
to
amend the
it?
motion? I'm sorry.
Well, if you made the motion, you can't amend it.
Oh, I can?
Yeah, I don't know who
Okay.
made the motion.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, she made the motion.
Okay, so I'll make the motion to amend to include the language, say it again.
Unless otherwise authorized by
Unless
the
otherwise-
superintendent or her
unless
designee.
otherwise-
Designee.
Authorized or designated by the superintendent.
Or her designee, if she's out of town.
However, whatever, yeah, something along those lines.
Unless authorized by the superintendent or her designee.
Unless authorized by the superintendent or her designee.
You might want to delete her,
Just thought about that.
just for future use.
Thank you for helping with the pronouns, yes.
Okay, so Mrs. Goodrich has amended her motion that we give authorization to advertise the proposed amendment to School Board Policy 523, School Board Vehicle Usage, and within that, amend and put a statement to include the language that a cabinet or executive director could drive it home if it's authorized by the superintendent or designee. Correct?
Oh, so it says if the cabinet member or executive director lives outside of the county, his or her car cannot be stored at any time at his residence unless otherwise.
Unless authorized by the superintendent
Correct.
or designee.
Correct.
All right, so Mrs. Goodrich has amended the motion. So do I have a second to the amended motion?
I'll second that amended motion.
Any further discussion? All right, then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Nay. So it passes 4-1. We're now moving on to item 20.05, authorization to advertise proposed amendments to School Board Policy 801, public participation in school board meetings. Dr. Balgobin?
Dr. Evans?
Yes, we have one proposed change to advertise for this particular policy 801, which is listed under decorum E1. Citizens' remarks should be directed to the presiding officer, the board as a whole, or an individual board member. In the past, you were not allowed to address an individual board member, but case law now authorizes such.
All right, Dr. Balgobin?
Yes, ma'am. I recommend authority be granted to advertise proposed amendments to School Board Policy 801, public participation in school board meetings.
Board members, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Do I have someone who'd like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Goodrich. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Brosmer. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of authorization to advertise proposed amendments to School Board Policy 801, public participation in school board meetings, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, it passes unanimously, 5-0. We're now on to, do we want to go ahead and do the next two that we have to?
You want to do that and
I'd
then
prefer to,
okay.
I'd prefer to do items 20.07 and 20.08 and then come back for the presentation for
Yeah,
20.06. All right, then we're going on to 20.07, appointment of a board member to serve on the Value Adjustment Board for the 2025 tax share. Dr. Balgobin?
Yeah, this is, you will ask if there are any public comments.
Are there any public comments for that? Okay. Who would like to serve? on the 2025 Value Adjustment Board?
I would need to know the dates.
Oh,
They're coming up. The first meeting will be July 14th, 2025.
I do not think it should be me.
I nominate Ms. Goodrich, and I'd be happy to be her alternate.
Do I have a volunteer?
I'll do it if he'll be my alternate.
Deal.
No. But I won't be there on the 14th.
Okay, so
Let's make a motion.
Mrs. Goodrich is volunteering to serve. Mr. Cologne is volunteering to be her alternate.
Unless Ms. Brosmer wants to do it.
What?
Pass. Thank you, though.
All you, Ruben.
All right. Then I need someone to make a motion to approve that Ms. Goodrich will represent us on the Value Adjustment Board and Mr. Cologne will be her alternate. Do I have someone to make a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Brosmer. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. I was going to pass the gavel if I had to. All right. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approving Mrs. Goodrich to serve on the Value Adjustment Board and Mr. Cologne to serve as her alternate, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it passes 5-0. 20.08, we have to also put a citizen member to serve on the Value Adjustment Board. So we have someone that has volunteered. She did it this past year, and that is Mrs. Cuthbert. Mrs. Cuthbert actually served during her time as a school board member. She likes this committee, and Celeste reached out to her for me to find out if she was willing, because she served last year as our citizen, and she said yes, that she's willing to serve unless someone has another citizen that they would like to put on the spot to attend the Value Adjustment Board.
I attended a meeting, and she's the real deal. She studies that in and out, so she was a great representation for us.
Okay, so do I have a board member that will make a motion to approve that Mrs. Linda Cuthbert be our citizen member to serve on the Value Adjustment Board for the 2025 tax year?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mrs. Goodrich. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of Mrs. Cuthbert serving as our citizen member on the Value Adjustment Board for the 2025 tax year, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mrs.
And
Cuthbert.
and Celeste, will you let her know and tell her we really appreciate that? So then we're backing up to item 20.06, which is now a presentation instead of an item that we're voting on.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. This is the item that we will be bringing back at the next board meeting. But for this time, I would like to ask Mr. McAuliffe, our Executive Director for Grad Assurance and Student Services, along with our wonderful, absolutely wonderful captain, Director of Safety and Security. They will share, both gentlemen would share with you, and also they will introduce our guests here. Our Extract One system that we are looking into implementing at our secondary school. So they will share that presentation with you and present our guest.
So somebody will introduce everyone.
Yes, ma'am. I have it. Captain Smith has me scripted
Okay. thank
verbatim
you.
to say exactly, and we can't go off script, so. Good evening, Superintendent, Madam Chair, school board members. I'm Mike McAuliffe, Executive Director of Graduation Assurance and Student Services. With here me today is Captain Todd Smith, Director of Safety and Security with Volusia County Schools, along with Kurt Arbuckle, who's sitting right here. This gentleman, he is the President and COO of CK2 Technologies. And also, we have Bimbo Coles. If you're a basketball fan, he played 14 years in the NBA, drafted by the Heat. So 1990 to 2004. Yeah, so give him a little statistician right there. So, he's also with CK2, and they have been a great partnership coming out and helping us pilot this at Pine Ridge High School when we did this earlier. This policy and presentation, or this presentation, aligns with Policy 208S. It provides conditions to enhance student learning, which is guardrail number 2. Kurt, I'm going to throw it over to you now, sir.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for your time. Genuinely, this is where we want to be. It's important, obviously, that you understand the technology, the implementation of the technology, but it's also important that you understand us. This is a partnership, and our journey here is important to us. As Mike said, I'm the current president and COO of CK2, but I'm also a co-founder. CK2 was founded with a mission to change school safety with a compassionate approach, bringing industry-leading and world-class technologies to our schools. We differentiate ourselves in how we do business, why we do business, and our technologies differentiate themselves in performance, but among many other things as well. Like I said, we truly partner with our customers. It's a focus on long-term relationships. There is no simple installation, move on, see you later. Security and the safety of our kids is extremely serious. Technology changes all the time. And the technology we'll talk about today is AI focused, which, as everybody knows, is changing constantly, which means things are getting better constantly. And so this is a long-term relationship for us. CK2 has over 4,500 engineers around the country that work for us. And that's important because it means what we do best is world-class support and service. Like I said, just the installation and the implementation of a technology is just the beginning. And so we bring those world-class technologies to our customers, but we also bring the expertise in the procedures behind that and the implementations there of best practices around the country. That's who we are. Extract One is the technology that we're talking about implementing today. And Extract One is a Toronto-based AI security firm. They were founded in 2016, specializing in non-invasive weapon detection systems that enhance fast, frictionless entry experiences for our schools. Their flagship system that we will talk about today, the Extract One gateway system, uses advanced bi-directional screening to detect threats like firearms while allowing students to carry everyday items like laptops and binders. Focused on a K-12 safety mission, the company is proud of their school-tailored solutions, striking a balance between robust security and keeping that welcoming school atmosphere. The gateway itself uses proprietary sensors and artificial intelligence to analyze the composition of objects made of conductive material as people pass through the system. Unlike traditional metal detectors that simply identify the presence of metal, the Extract One gateway creates unique signatures based on the types of conductive materials, size, and shape in different objects. This allows it to distinguish between everyday personal belongings and potential threats. And that means differentiating between a Nintendo Switch that the kids have and the headphones and the laptops, among everything, 3-ring binders, which is an issue in our industry. The One gateway separates itself by being the only system where a separate X-ray or bag scanner is not needed. Keep the bags on you. That's kind of what we say. Again, focusing on that experience in a compassionate way for the kids. A wise man once told me that once you can establish credibility, people don't care how much you know, but they want to know how much you care. And as much as I could drag on our support and service, we'll be put in a position hopefully to prove that. But on the credibility side, the Extract One system is trusted not just with hospitals and schools across the country, but world-class venues. Our favorites here on the slide are the Chicago Theater, Madison Square Garden, Radio City Music Hall, the Sphere in Las Vegas, which is my favorite, and now back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, the Florida Panthers. And that is all guests, and in some cases, all employees coming into the venue. Todd, if that's okay, can you skip one more? Just to keep on the credibility front, the validity and the validations from third parties is crucial. And this is a slide we're very proud of, from red teams across the country at state level, individual team levels. We have fully completed evaluations with the Department of Homeland Security, with the Federal Aviation Administration, the Transportation Security Administration, the National Protective Authority, and the National Center for Spectator Sports Safety and Security. Again, back to that credibility of the real-world detection efficacy of the systems. I'm going to hand it over to Bimbo now to talk more on the features and benefits, and then a bit more specifically on our time here in Volusia County so far.
Thank you, Kurt. Also, thank you, Mike. Good evening, and thank you, Madam Chair, Superintendent, and boards of the members for allowing us to come and speak today on something that we value deeply, and that's the safety and well-being of our students, teachers, and school communities. Again, like I said, my name is Bimbo Coles, and I'm proud to be a representative of CK2 Technologies. Our system is advanced, discrete, and designed with schools in mind. And some of our key features of our Extract One system is our advanced threat detection capabilities, our rapid setup and portable deployment. And when I say rapid setup and portable deployment, I talk about I can do it. So that's how easy it is. And, one of the things that I've done all my life is play basketball and haven't been able to do much. I mean, I couldn't even find where my spare tire was in my car. So to be able to come out and to have one training session with this and be able to set it up. So it's very easy, and anybody in your school can set it up and move it at any time. So it's easy to set up and move. It's stable and adaptable, whether you're a small rural elementary school or a large urban high school. This solution is scalable and stable, delivering consistent performance where it's deployed. It's all customizable. That means, your state championship teams that you have in Volusia counties, we can put up the 2022 state champions in girls softball. We can put that up. And something that you're always really proud of is winning state championships. It has remote monitoring and real-time alerts. Our solution integrates with your current security infrastructure and provides live data, remote monitoring, and real-time threat alerts, ensuring school officials and security personnel are always a step ahead. The benefits to your school community: we help you to ensure safety of students, educators, and visitors, creating an environment where people feel secure and supported by preventing weapons-related incidents before they happen. We not only protect lives, but we also reduce fear and anxiety in our schools. My girlfriend is a school teacher up in Citrus counties, and one of the things she said to me was, there's two things that she worries about, is a kid getting a gun and shooting up her classroom, and also a kid getting a gun in and shooting up her daughter's high school, which is in South Sumter. So that is something that we're aware of, and we want to cut that off before it gets there. Our system supports a secure learning environment where the focus remains on education, growth, and community, not on fear. It enhances safety measures, strengthens your school reputation, and demonstrates your commitment to student and staff well-being. Its integration is smooth. Our system works with existing cameras, access control, emergency response plans, maximize disruption and maximize protection. At C2K Technologies, we understand that safety isn't just about technology, it's about trust. It's about working together with educators, administrators, parents, and communities to create spaces where students can thrive without fear. Together with Extract One, we develop not just hardware, but peace of mind. I'm going to kind of get off script a little bit and just kind of give you two things that we've done. We had the opportunity and the privilege to be at Seminole County at Choices in Learning, which is an elementary school. And we were there for beta testing for 21 days. The beauty of the system is that it can adapt to the different students and the different things, the different computers, the different, I think one of the issues that we had early on was the Pinto box. that the younger kids were having, so it kept giving false alerts. Well, we got that in the system and we solved that problem. Our false alerts was kind of high for the first couple of days, and by the third day, we got it down below 10%. So it improves with more walkthroughs. We can also put in the different, the computers, the new phones in the system, and it'll adapt and adjust to it. Another example was that when we were here at Pine Ridge High School, our first day, we had a false alert rate of 75%. Well, I think the principal, Julian, one of the things that he had said is that we can't be late. We can't have these kids in school. Well, we had preached to the captain and Mike, a number of times that this system works. We can do it. We can get people in, and we're very comfortable. Well, after the first day, have you guys ever heard of Michael Jordan? Have you guys ever played against Michael Jordan? Well, I've had the opportunity. I've had the opportunity to play against Michael Jordan. So, and that's not a good feat. So that's kind of how I felt. After day one, I felt like I just had been beaten up by Michael Jordan, but that was actually Captain Smith and Mike. And we made some changes. We got a hold of our engineering department up in Toronto, and the next day we came back with a 9% false alarm rate. So the system is always adapting, and we can adjust to make it better, especially as the technology gets different. The computers are different. I mean, it seems like every 6 months, every year, Apple's putting out a new phone. We will be able to put that in the system, and we won't have them false alerts on them type of things. So there are two things that we know that we can do very well, but also when we talk about CK2 technologies, we're coming as long-term. We're coming in as a partner, and we've been here for a minute doing some testing, and we feel like we're part of Volusia County's family. And if there's anything that would happen to go wrong, or if anything that you needed, we would be here to make sure that we fix it. So again, thank you for your time, and I'll pass it back to you, Kurt.
I would like to note that weapons detection screening is recommended by both the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Commission and the Florida School Safety Specialist Handbook as a standard that, if can be done, should be done. Over the past several years, we've been working diligently to ensure each of our students can come to school and obtain the education that they deserve. On average, we recover 2 firearms per year in Volusia County schools. We have been working very hard to get that number to 0. This year, we expanded our random screenings, piloted both Evolve and CK2 technologies in our schools to determine several things. First, can we do this? Getting hundreds, and in some cases, thousands of students into a school efficiently without significantly disrupting the educational process. Our trials determined that we could. We also needed to know if it would reduce the weapons coming onto our campuses. Understanding in years past that we've averaged 2 firearms a year identified or recovered on our campuses, I'm happy to report that not a single firearm was recovered on our campuses this school year.
Wow.
We also needed to know if the schools had the resources to implement this process. The steps we took revealed initially they cannot. The first couple days, the students don't understand the process, and the staff has to work through the process. From this, we determined we needed to roll out the process in phases to ensure that we have the resources and staff to successfully implement this process. Instead of ordering all of them at once and just expecting it to work, we know that we're going to have to manage the process in smaller bites to ensure that the students and staff are properly supported. Furthermore, we wanted to ensure that CK2 is able to support such a complex task. With the lessons learned, the processes developed, and the staffing allocations from changes to door and gate regulations, we will and are able to properly implement this.
The weapon detection system is one critical layer of our multi-tier strategy of support. While our goal is 100% prevention, we must acknowledge that no single solution is foolproof. This technology significantly enhances our ability to detect, deter weapons, and working alongside trained staff, school security personnel, behavior threat assessment teams, along with Fortify Florida Tips reporting system, and strong relationships with our students. We know success isn't measured by perfection, but by the continuous improvement and the difference in the deterrence. The visible presence of this system alone serves as a powerful deterrent, potentially preventing weapons from reaching our campus. So, is it worth it? There are several factors to consider when determining if this is worthwhile. First is the obvious, which is finding the weapons. This is the simplest form in the process of one most people think about when it comes to the implementation. As we explained last year with the random screenings, the screening process will allow us for the ability to identify individuals with weapons on campuses that prevent violence. The exact scenario happened this school year at Spec Martin and Mainland. Off campus, we use metal detectors at our sporting events to ensure that everybody provides safety into our school events. A kid tried to get a firearm into the event. Luckily, the metal detector worked. It avoided the potential terrible incident. The weapon was not allowed into the event, and all was well. Screenings can act as a deterrent, discouraging students from bringing weapons on campus. If students know that they will be screened each day, the process can deter them from bringing a weapon in the first place. Additional aspect is the potential for identifying a person who may have a plan to harm others and avoid a catastrophe. If a student is identified to have a weapon, it gives us the opportunity to determine why and address before it goes too far, and we have extensive mental health and threat management teams on our campus that can intervene and support at any time.
I say this all the time, but how do fires play into this? This is one aspect of our overall safety plan. The last time a child died in a school fire was in 1958. 92 students and 3 nuns died. From there, society changed their behaviors. They did fire drills. They installed exit signs. The buildings went from wood to concrete. Doors opened outwards instead of inwards. Sprinklers were installed in schools. I could go on and on with the changes that were made to prevent such a tragedy. Some were inconvenient, but the changes were necessary. What you are seeing is a similar process with school shootings and violence. We drill for active assailants. We've changed the construction process of the schools to prevent a shooter from getting into the school to begin with. We've developed plans to mitigate loss of life by creating safe zones, hard corners, utilizing impact-resistant glass, using Raptor sex offender for screening, implementing Centegix alert system, installing video surveillance systems, having guardians and SROs, SRDs in the schools, mental health teams, the Florida Model Threat Management, training students to see something, say something, training staff on how to handle situations, ensuring that our guardians and our SROs and our SRDs have the correct mental mindset, and much, much more. This valuable tool will be added to our comprehensive security plan. There isn't one item that can prevent a tragedy. It's a collective of tools all put together to save lives, much the same as the process for preventing children from dying in a school fire.
As Captain Smith shared with you all, you can see Volusia County Schools is, I believe, leading the way in the state of Florida with all of our safety protocols that we have, and Captain Smith and his team. This is just something else that's going to continue to evolve and enhance Volusia County Schools and put us on the map. There is no other district that has this implementation into their secondary schools district-wide. So we will be the first one to do that as well, to be a trendsetter. Every decision we make in this rollout prioritizes maintaining a positive school environment while enhancing safety and ensuring all students are able to learn. This isn't just a set it and forget it solution. We're committed to the ongoing evaluation and the enhancement. And with your support, we can ensure Volusia County provides a safe, successful learning environment. This project is necessary, this project is doable, and this will add to the comprehensive safety plan, as Captain Smith already stated, and create layers of protections for our students and our staff. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have nothing to vote on, but we have people that have questions. We're going to start with Ms. Thompson.
Thank you. And thank you, gentlemen, for being here and sitting through the whole meeting for this presentation. I appreciate it. And thank you to Captain Smith and your team for going through and researching all these different metal detectors and comparing them, because it's been completely eye-opening. I will say, and I don't work for them, I'm not getting paid to do this. However, I've looked at a lot of metal detectors lately, and I'm going to say that it's going to be a very Jesse comment. It is the prettiest. It's a non-threatening metal detector, which is important when you're talking about kids. It is. The lights are, it is. it's nice. It's not threatening. So if you're a student walking into school and it's something, I know there are parents who are a little apprehensive about the whole process because is it going to scare them? Is it going to traumatize them walking through this? And it's not. It's relatively open. You walk through, the lights are nice. I love that it can adjust. Like, that's amazing. And speaking on how we would be the first to do this, we had people from Brevard County come up and see this because it was so cool and so innovative. And you all know I'm extremely competitive. And so to have other districts looking, I talked to someone from Clay County yesterday who was looking into what our team was doing because they'd heard about Captain Smith and all the initiatives he's taking with his team. And so I love this idea. I love that you all compared that at Pine Ridge. We had another one going at Atlantic. And I love that we're not just like jumping at the first thing we see and going with it and then figuring out a year later, oh, we wasted money and we made a mistake. And thank you so much for saying a couple times over that you're a partner in Volusia County. You're not just trying to sell a product and then walk away and, we'll see you later. I love that you all came in, you took the initiative to figure out what was going wrong that first day and figuring it out. And so I love this product. I love the AI part of it. I love that it will be able to adapt with the different models of computers, with cell phones. So I just want to thank you guys for being here and for going out to Pine Ridge and doing that whole test process. Appreciate it.
Mr. Cologne?
And so I've never seen the pretty lights. And of course, you want to sell a product. They want us to approve a product. And so, sometimes the best feedback comes from the most unsuspecting places. And so there's a young lady at Pine Ridge in the front office that you all need to thank because she said, Mr. Cologne, this is what we need. Her name's Amy, because you got to go find her. And so, that meant a lot to me because this is someone who is lived it, who saw it, who felt it, who is the first line of defense in the front office. And again, that came from her. I do have some questions, which you won't be surprised by any of these. You've already touched on some of this. If you're not able to answer the question for security reasons, I understand. And just tell me, Ruben, we could take it offline or whatever. But how long does it take for the AI model to distinguish between, and you mentioned that there was a false rate at the beginning, and so how long does it take it to learn and how quick, and you mentioned you have development partners and engineers, how quick can we get that tweaked in order to get towards a closer, smoother school day and getting kids to class, as Mr. Doster said, which is the most important thing for us?
Sure. The first step there is the initial installation and implementation. I mean, our team will not leave until everyone is 100% confident. If that's a week, if that's 2 weeks, then so be it. And so we will not leave until it is fully and completely ready. And then to answer your question on the changes, Bimbo had mentioned at Choices in Learning with the kids who are much shorter than the average person we screen. And their school, for some reason, almost all the kids had bento boxes. And so a bento box is a metal box that school lunches go into. And it's a metal box.
Like
and
an old school lunchbox.
It's not like the old school. It's inside. It's where just like the food is contained in mostly. Yeah. So you still have the lunchbox itself, and then the food kind of goes in the bento box. And so that was something where that's a subjective choice of, do we want to alert on a metal box where something can be hidden in, or is that something that is chosen that we don't want to alert on that? And so we were able to make that change that very next day. So as far as turnaround time on AI changes, it can vary from instant to, I'm sure there are more complex things that can take a couple days, but initial setup and moving into full implementation, we don't leave till that's done. I say we'll be there for weeks. We're not going to need to be there for weeks. But then any changes we can typically do very quickly.
So first day, rough as anything else in life, that even when things work well, is it an expectation that maybe, because now we're talking district-wide. So now, a little fire turns into a forest fire, even though it's isolated or, because that's just the way social media works. And so how many days should we expect until we start seeing that decrease in falsehoods, which of course lead to delays? I'm trying to set a realistic expectation so that we understand, you know, and on the bento boxes, I mean, I don't know if that's so common that we can't prohibit it. I don't know.
So, the first day was rocky, and then after that, they were able to push out an update, get all the things squared away. They figured out whatever it was that was alerting, and the next day we were good to go. So it will take a couple days. The first day, the kids have to figure out where to line up, how to get into the line, what they need to do. The staff needs to figure out how they're supposed to, the pace, like the cadence on how to get the kids through the machine. Like if they're just bumper to bumper, they're going to alert more than if they're walking through at a standard normal rate that kids walk through. So it takes, a day or two for the staff, the students, and the machine to all get to know each other in essence. And then after that, smooth sailing. So we have planned for that, and it's going to be in phases so that it's not just dumped out to all the schools. We'll ensure that we get the phases done 2 schools at a time, and then that those are up, running successfully, and everything's going well before we start trying to get deeper into the project so that we can ensure that we are capable of doing it and that it is working. And we're working on the contract to ensure that it goes in phases so that everybody's expectations are met and that we're in a solid position to do this and we're not making foolish decisions.
Perfect. And thank you for that, because in my mind, I thought we would be, 10, actually it's 25 schools, boom, one day, first day of school is going to be on the news.
There'll be 2 schools at a time.
Beautiful.
And then once we get the schools stood up, and we'll move to the next phase, 2 schools at a time.
From a policy standpoint, if there are things that are commonly triggering as positives, and, as a school board, we look at policy. And so if, for example, and again, I have to Google what a bento box is, because I've never, I don't think I know what a bento box is, but, if that's something that provides, constant triggers, then maybe we say, bring Tupperware, I don't know, in order to get, showing me what a bento box is. Never seen that before in my life. And so again, from a policy standpoint, if there's anything we could do to support this to get it going through, I mean, every time we go to the airport, we always think, man, I should have wore that belt that didn't have a buckle so I wouldn't have to take it off, or I should have wore my slides so I don't have to sit here and tie them. If there's things we can do from that standpoint. And then the other part is, and we can talk about this offline, is what is the strategy for the front office, for example, once the students are in, how does that, every other student who walks into the building get?
So what we ended up doing at one of the schools is we actually installed a buzzer, which most of the schools have. That school specifically did not. And then they walk through the metal detector before they go in, and then they'll buzz the door so they can go in once they pass the metal detector. Because it's a walkthrough, you just walk through it. You don't have to search the bag. Obviously, if they can't get through because of whatever reason, then the door doesn't unlock, and they're going to have to resolve that first. Does that make sense or no?
None at all.
So we,
Go ahead.
The Deltona High, for
you
example.
push the button and it unlocks the door. So they walk in to the main office, right?
No, I'm trying to picture, for example, Deltona High.
Okay, so if a kid's coming late or tardy and they get dropped off, each school will have at least 2 devices. So they're mobile. So if you have one this is where I want it each and every day, I would then be able to pick it up. As Bimbo said, it's very light, it's very user-friendly, and very easy to control. I can set that up in the main office once the tardy bell has rang. So any guest, any student that walks through my main office to check in, tardy or late, they have to go through the metal detector prior.
That's what I was trying to say.
Okay, I've got more questions, but I'll take those offline. Thank you.
Rosmer.
Thank you for your presentation. Some of my questions have been answered in this discussion. Your presentation focused a whole lot on the what and the why, but almost nothing on the how. And I was trying to figure out how you were going to do all of the wonderful things you were describing, and it wasn't until Mrs. Thompson mentioned metal detectors that I realized this is school-based, is that correct? And not district-based, it's not centralized, it's school-based, okay. So are we effectively talking about doing a pilot project in essence?
Yeah, so how Captain Smith, phase one would be our first two high schools that we would select, and those would be the two high schools that we've already piloted with Evolve and then the CK2. So it would be Atlantic and Pine Ridge would be the first two that we start. Both schools would get 2 devices to where they would be able to get comfortable. The kids already understand the routine and know that piece. And I kind of look at it as like the first week or two of school. You know, traffic is bad, buses are late, people don't know their lunch line, people aren't getting fed. So once everybody understands the systems and structures of how to go through it and what to do, instead of they have to don't take anything off and they get to actually go through, it is truly a smooth process of you with your book bags and everything, and you're just walking at a normal speed. So it will be an implementation. Hopefully by 2 weeks, we would be able to move on to a new school. So after 2 weeks, we would have a new set of schools.
So this is how we did it. So you set the machine up at a point of entry, so a gate or something like that where you enter into the school. And then we have additional personnel there that start giving the kids direction. So we tell them, leave your stuff on, you're just gonna walk right through the metal detector, go ahead and get in line, because they're coming from all different directions. And then once they start forming a line, then there's somebody that's actually at the machine explaining to them how to walk through it. Just walk right through, you don't have to take all your stuff off. Then we have tables set up to the side so that if somebody does alert, we can check their bag to make sure that they don't have a weapon inside the bag. And then once their bag is checked, they are walking back through the machine to make sure that they didn't have something on them. And then once both of those are good, then they go into the classroom, or into the school. So it's outside of the actual entrance point of the school. So they're not getting into the campus until they've been through the process. Does that make sense?
Yes, that helps, thank you. And how long are you anticipating that it would need to be used before you determine that it can be expanded to other schools?
Oh, we're certain it can be expanded. So it would be phased in probably a week at a time or 2 weeks, depending on the circumstances. If we're having to work out some kinks here or there, or like this would be a better spot to set up the device as opposed to where we have it, things like that. But within a week or two, we would know that the school stood up. They're not requiring the amount of resources, because we're obviously going to provide significant amount of resources to ensure that the kids can get in, even if there is a high alert rate. And then once they get that resolved, then we can pare down those resources and turn it over to the school, because their resources that they have at the school base will be enough for them to do the job without additional supports.
Okay, well, I guess considering we're doing the budget now, this is probably a good time to have this conversation. So thank you.
Mr. Cologne?
Donna, so ultimately, we've already done the pilot, this is the implementation.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
So they're just, how they roll it out. Like I said, I'm glad to hear the approach, because I was already thinking. And the good news is, and I didn't know where you were going to start, but at Pine Ridge, they already used this. And so we kind of know that, and of course, the how's on the superintendent, but we know those two schools already, the majority of kids who are there already walked through them before. And those two schools already know what worked and what didn't, and they can perfect on that. And so I think that's going to make it just a tad bit smoother, because they've already, mind you, the one school did it with a different product, but so there'll be one school who's net new, correct? And then there'll be another school who's already used it before.
When I said how, I was thinking of the actual mechanism. I was trying to figure out that part of it. So thank you all for all of that.
I want to say thank you for your presentation and for coming into Volusia County and doing a pilot for us. So my question more is to the Captain Smith and Mr. McAuliffe. So you chose 2 of the smaller high schools to do it at, and I understand why. So at what point do we try it out on a high school that has over 3,000 kids to see what it's going to look like.
So that's an interesting argument, that it's a smaller school, but it is a single point of entry. So all of the kids had to go through one metal detector. So we had to get, the campuses have around 1,200 kids. We had to get those kids in through one metal detector, through one gate, with a smaller school base within that same amount of time. So it actually, I don't know that it is, it was an easier deal because of the way that it's set up, to where all the kids had to walk from all over the different locations to get in, and then we had to still get them in that same amount of time. And then we have a lot of kids, but only one location that we can get them in through. So we're pressure testing the system based on the volume going through one device.
So then I guess my question would be for you gentlemen. So you came and you tested it at two of our smaller schools, and I understand they had to get through. So take away the first day or two trying to work out the kinks. How long did it take to get 1,200 kids through?
I believe on that last day, we were just around 26 minutes, 25 minutes on the last couple of days.
So at a high school that has a 3,000 or higher, we're looking at an hour, probably, once you work out all the kinks to get them through.
Not exactly, because those large high schools will have 3 devices.
So you'll have 2 points of entry.
Or most likely, you're going to have a student parking and a bus area, and then you're going to have your parent drop-off will be your 2 points of entry.
So we'll have 3 points of entry.
Well, depending on how the schools are set up, we're going to try to mitigate it to 2 points so you can have dual machines, so kids can go through at one single point entry through the double machines, so we can get through the double amount of students. But the larger high schools, your DeLand University and Creek, will have 3 of these devices. So if they wanted to, and they have the school personnel, once we get it updated, situated, they could decide and say, I want to put it in my bus loop, I want to put one at parent drop-off, and I want to put one at student parking. They would have that flexibility to do so.
So we have other metal detectors that we've had for a while now that we started with sporting events. So I recommended, because those were only being used at sporting events, to go ahead and put one of them at the front office. I recommended that probably more than a year ago, so that once school started, anyone coming in, because it's not just students, it's also adults, would have to walk through that. And we've never actually done that. And so since we still have the other metal detectors, is there a way of looking at doing that? For example, I'll use DeLand High. You know, they have people come and go all day on that campus. And the individuals that are sitting at the front desk, and sometimes it's students that are up there with an adult, they may not recognize those people. So I'm happy that we use them for sporting events, but I still think we're wasting the resource that we have, because they could sit there every day, Monday through Friday, and anybody coming on that campus after, their initial entry would have to go through that. And I understand with this, we could move this one there, but we just have not used all of our resources up to this point. And then the other thing is, are we going to require the adults to go through this, or is this only students going through this?
No, I mean, either way. Yeah, so just to go back to the metal detectors we currently have for the sporting events, you can't walk through with those with a binder or with a book bag or anything like that because of the type of equipment that they are. When I say it's a little bit, it's just not newer as like this stuff is. So we would recommend putting their device in the front office, because there's an iPad to it. You can see where it's at no matter where you're sitting, and it'll give you a little box around it and an alarm with it like that. As for, will the adults have to walk through this? I mean, that's going to be a decision that we think is going to be priority and safety. If we expect it, we should model it type deal. And that's the way I look at it. So we ensure that every adult and every student is safe on a campus. And we've dotted all of our I's and crossed all of our T's. That's the way I look at it. But I mean, you guys can disagree and say, nope, we only want students or things like that. But that's a process that we would have to work out once you guys would decide and bring this back at the July 30th meeting.
Okay, so I'll weigh in. I personally feel that anybody coming on campus, including myself, should walk through that, setting an example that that's what we're doing. But also, as we know, when events have happened on campuses, it's not always students that bring the weapons.
Agreed.
Sometimes it's adults. And if our goal is to ensure that weapons are kept off of our campuses to keep our students and staff safe, then I think everyone should go through it.
Great.
Any other questions or comments? Mr. Cologne?
Is there a plan to have one, say, at the hub, so that if one goes down, at least
Yeah,
it's
we'll have
within?
two additional ones that they're tossing in, yeah, for free.
Wait, what'd you say?
We negotiated well.
We did.
You use the F word?
Yeah.
Free.
See?
Free. Thank you.
Well, we're actually a very large district, and we're divided into 5 parts. We really probably should be divided into 6 parts because of the size. So I'd like to suggest a renegotiation on the free ones and see if you'll go to 5 or 6.
Suggestion heard.
All right, thank you very much. If you don't ask, the automatic answer is no. All right, anyone else with any further questions? Thank you very much. At this time, we're moving on to the final public input from the evening, and I have 1 yellow card completed. And so, Deanna Cooper, if you'd like to come forward. You'll have 3 minutes to speak, and there is a time clock here. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening. First ever board meeting, never attended one. I am new here from Pennsylvania. I just moved down with my family. I have 4 children. 2 will be going to DeLand High this year. 1 is 10 and he'll be going to Citrus Grove, and the other is still in daycare. I found it extremely important to come here tonight because my emails have not been answered. I reached out to all of the transportation people that I could find on the Volusia County School District website, to which no one responded. My house is precisely 1.7 miles from Citrus Grove Elementary. My son would have a 36-minute walk from home to school, walking along 15A, where the speed limit is 55 miles per hour, which everyone knows in Florida. I've noticed very quickly, no one does the speed limit. So I'm very concerned that there is no school bus. All of my neighbors say that they drive their kids, and that's great, but I'm a nurse. I have to be in work before my son has to be in school, and my husband's a postal worker and works lots of long hours, so that's not a possibility for us. I'm here just to see if there's a possibility of adding another bus stop for the families that may be affected just as much as I am. But my emails weren't being answered, so I just needed to come here and let you guys know that I really do not feel comfortable having my 10-year-old take a 37-minute walk by himself along 15A. And even if I try to get him a bike or a scooter, because I've weighed all the options, it's just not safe, and it should not be, not with what I pay in taxes and what I just paid for my home. I'm happy to be here in DeLand, but I think the 2-mile minimum, or whatever, minimum, maximum, the 2-mile marker should really be considered, especially when it's safety involved. I just can't have anything happen to my kid, and we shouldn't be willing to put anybody's child at risk having to walk that sort of distance, especially alone. And then, like I said, my youngest is going to be 4 in September, so this will be the same issue for me. If we do not get a bus stop added, I will then be expected to have my 5-year-old walk by herself to the school, which is just not acceptable. So I needed to let you guys hear. And I didn't even know I was supposed to fill out a card. I missed that part, so I sat here all this time. It's been a long day, but thank you guys for hearing me. I hope that you guys consider. And like I said, I did send the emails, so maybe it just didn't get noticed yet, but I needed to speak up because something's got to give. So thank you.
I have one question for you.
Yes.
Would you mind, I'm going to pass this around
Yes.
to Ms. Gilmore. Will you come add your address to
I
the
sure
card
can.
so that we
Yeah.
can look into
Yes.
this further? Thank you. All right. I have no other public input at this time, so this brings us up to item 22.01. Any items from board members, the superintendent, or the school board attorney? Is there anyone that wishes to speak this evening? Okay, then if there is no additional information, then what I'd like to say is I hope Those of you that haven't yet had an opportunity to have any vacation yet, it's time. Please go and enjoy your family and get some rest and all. And those of you that have already had a vacation, we are happy that you have. But it is 7:57 PM and this meeting is adjourned.